Say good evening, all the way on the West Coast, huh? What's up, DMC Neil, my man? Good to see you, brother. Joni, good to see you. Tippy, good to see you. I mailed my ballot in today. Oh my, AZ Fox, my man. You know I love to hear that. That's music to my ears. When you tell me, Harry, I voted. Oh man, You know that's the good stuff. And bracelets tonight. Oh yeah, we're always rocking the friendship bracelets. One of them says, "We fight, we win." You know Kamala Harris's slogan. It's the blue and red one right here. We fight, we win. This one says, "Emerge." It's good stuff. Palm strings here. I voted. Amazing, Andre. That's fantastic. Yeah, if you haven't already, remember, check your state. Your early voting might be open, or return your mail-in ballot, your absentee ballot, whatever it might be. Please get out there and vote. Vote. Anyway, Jackson says voted yesterday. What's up? Peanut butter and Kelly. I love. Is that one of the best usernames you've ever seen? Peanut butter and Kelly. I mean, that's incredibly creative. I love that. Anyway, ladies, gents, boys and girls, everybody in between. You know what we're doing here tonight. We are talking to Trump supporters. I'm a Kamala Harris supporter, proudly supporting Kamala Harris this election. She is the right candidate, the person that we all should be supporting this election. So I'm proudly supporting them. But unfortunately, there are people out there supporting Donald Trump, if you can even believe it. I still, to myself, ask, how is this possible every single day? How is it possible that somebody's voting for Donald Trump? But they are. They are. So we're going to find out why. If you are MAGA, make sure to request up. You can either request up in the box and I will bring you up and we can talk, or you can just type MAGA in the chat and you can come up and we can have a conversation and you can tell me and the beautiful people watching at home why you are MAGA. But before we get right into that, make sure to double tap the screen. Let's try to get to 100,000 likes. You double tapping the screen boosts the live, sends it out to more people, sends it out to more Trump supporters, allowing for more conversation. So do me a favor, double tap the screen, and there should be like a little pink bar that comes up. Try to fill that bar maybe once, maybe twice, and that helps boost the live. Of course, spam those shares down there. Drop a follow if you haven't already. We do these lives all the time. And as always, the Venmo and the Cash App are in the link in the bio, all the way at the bottom, if you want to support the live. But of course, that's optional. Come on now. You know that. There's no pressure to do any of that. All right. If you are MAGA, let me know in the chat. We're going to bring somebody up now. We're getting right into this, ladies, gents, boys, and girls. If you are MAGA, type in the chat MAGA or Trump 2024 or request up in the box, and we'll get you up here and we can talk to you. And you can tell me why on earth you're MAGA. And we'll just go from there. Let's see here. Let's see who we got. Let's see who's making some noise tonight. Who's making some noise tonight wants to come up. Let's find somebody. Again, impossible to understand how there are folks who are MAGA, but I digress. There are. This guy says conservative in his bio. He's a Yankees fan and a conservative. Antithetical, you might say. You might describe it as hello.
Hello.
How old are you?
I'm over 21.
Oh, okay, great. All right, why are you MAGA?
Well, I'm a lifetime Republican.
Okay. Oh, he left. Oh, let's bring up this guy, Matt Watson. He's spamming Trump in the chat. Like he just put a bunch of red hearts. So I wonder who he's supporting. I don't know. It's up in the air. I might describe it as. Let's bring up this guy right here. The pressure got to him. Well, it's okay if he wants to step down. There's no problem. No hate there. Hello. You have 5 seconds to say something or you're gone. 5.
Yo, what's up, Harry?
Yeah, hello. How old are you?
I'm 19.
All right. Why you MAGA?
I'm actually not. I just got a question.
Okay. What's your question?
Like, when you get your news and your info, where do you usually go for that? Where's the best source?
Yeah, I think that there's a number of really good sources out there. I think that it depends on what you're looking for. So if you just want nonpartisan, straight down the middle news and just the facts, I would really recommend outlets that the Associated Press, BBC. I think that ABC is also really great. But of course, I personally like reading the New York Times, the Washington Post. Those are really great outlets as well. They track global news, domestic news. It's all really good. So those are kind of where I go automatically.
Okay. Do you check them daily, you say?
Pretty much my routine is when I wake up in the morning, I'll automatically start scrolling the news, which you shouldn't do. It's probably unhealthy to do that, but that's what I do.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
So, no problem. All right, have a good one. Appreciate you. All right, Darby, why you MAGA?
Because I'm for everything Trump's standing for. He's wanting to make America great.
And then the assaulting women. That's also a fan of that.
Well, like Bill Clinton never did.
Did Bill Clinton assault somebody?
Oh, well, you know, he had a stain on a blue dress that's even in the freaking Smithsonian. So, you know.
What are you talking about? Did he? I'm asking. Did he assault a woman? Did he engage in intercourse consensually?
His name. I'm sure his name's on Epstein's list too. That they're not.
His name's actually not, funnily enough. But you know who was friends with Epstein? Donald Trump.
Well, you know, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, they're on there too.
But there's actually no. The funny thing is, there's no evidence of that Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton are on that list.
Redacted that.
But what's actually funny is that Donald Trump was actually friends with Epstein. He flew on his plane 7 times. We have like call logs of Epstein calling Donald Trump. Donald Trump even said that Epstein's a great guy who likes to have fun, and he maybe likes younger women as much as I do.
Well,
like what?
So you're a pervert? Is that what you're saying?
What?
Yeah, so you're pretty young. So it's like, so if you're wanting even younger women, so that makes you a pervert.
That's what Donald Trump said.
Oh no!
He said that Epstein is
I'm just
Epstein.
listening
He said,
to what
quote,
you just said.
Yeah, that's what Donald Trump said. He said, quote, Epstein's a great guy who likes to have a lot of fun, and said that he likes younger women almost as much as I do.
Yeah. So what do you think?
So do you think
like
that's concerning? Wait, do you think that's concerning that Donald Trump said that?
Do you think it's concerning that we've let all these
Can you answer the
illegal
question if you don't
people-
mind? Can you answer the question if you don't mind? 'Cause you brought up Epstein, so you opened the door.
Okay, that's all right. So Epstein had frickin' Clinton on there more times.
Wait. Can you answer the question? Do you think it's concerning how Donald Trump talked about how Epstein likes younger women just like he does?
I don't think he ever said that.
He did. He said in an interview with the New
You're
Yorker.
pushing shit out of context, buddy.
Really? Do you want me to get the quote for you? The exact quote?
Man, you are one sad, pathetic dude, man.
I'm sorry that you can't debate. It's honestly not my fault that you can't debate. It's not my fault. You shouldn't take that out on other people.
No, I'm not taking it out on anybody. It's just you're getting paid by the Democrats to say all this bullshit.
No, it's crazy because you brought up Epstein.
That's not what he said.
Really? Do you want to read the exact quote for you?
Read the exact quote because
I got you.
You're full of shit, buddy.
So you're not familiar with this quote?
So
are you not? Or so do you? Are you familiar with it or not?
Okay, he did not say that. So you're going right with that, you know, the vice president and making up.
So I have a quote from you. Is accurate. A 2002 profile about Epstein in New York Magazine quoted Donald Trump saying Epstein was, quote, a terrific guy. Saying, quote, I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it. Jeffrey enjoys his social life.
Well, it doesn't mean that he's fucking flying with him and
he was on his flight log 7 times. 7 different times he was on his plane.
How many times was Clinton on it?
We have I don't know. And if like Clinton did something,
that's
if Clinton did something wrong,
the FBI is just is a crooked Democratic organization.
The FBI is not in control of that. The FBI is not in control of that.
Yeah,
no,
they
these
do.
were as a result of courts. But
right now. They're the
Clinton,
ones that actually freaking,
wait, my man. If Clinton did something wrong, then he should be held accountable. But you are defending Donald Trump's relationship with Epstein, where he talked about how Epstein likes young women.
And you're the one that's bouncing around the fact that Clinton's did too.
Wait, so is it okay? So is what Donald Trump said bad? Is Donald Trump flying on his plane 7 times and being best friends with him bad?
It's been redacted by the FBI.
It has not been redacted. That's not how redactions work.
Yeah,
that's not how redactions work.
Yeah, it is. These were the FBI is
who at the FBI is in charge of redacting cases regarding a private matter?
Yeah, they're historically democratically controlled. So
really, wait. You understand that there's never been a Democrat appointed to lead the FBI in American history?
Well, it still doesn't mean they're not being controlled.
Subscription.
It's like the bullshit with Kennedy.
Who's controlling? So wait, when Donald Trump appointed Christopher Wray, is he also controlled by the Democrats?
Well, and the thing is, there's a lot more people that's below him that's pushing the word around. So
the director of the FBI is being controlled by the Democrats, or what? What's the conspiracy theory here?
Underneath it's the way it's been for just about since the FBI was started.
For sure. The FBI, a really liberal organization, for sure. So can you answer the question now that, like, do you not think it's concerning that Donald Trump said these things about Epstein?
Well, can you? Why is it?
It's just a simple question. It's not. By the way, there's no whataboutism necessary. Excuse me. There's no whataboutism necessary of like, oh, Clinton did this. It's just a simple question. Do you think Donald Trump's comments are concerning? And I'm happy to answer your question, but I'm not. You're not answering my question with a question.
Not, buddy. I know.
I'm happy to answer. I'm 100% happy to answer your question, but I've asked you this question like 5 times now, and you continue to dodge it. So, do you think it's concerning that Donald Trump was friends with Epstein and spoke very favorably about him, especially when it comes to young women?
No,
you don't think it's concerning?
All these other freaking Democrats haven't either. All right,
so you don't think it's concerning?
I think it's concerning that anybody was. But you know
so
what?
You do think it's concerning that Donald Trump was friends with Epstein?
And I'm concerned that freaking Clintons were too.
But just to be clear, there's like no evidence that Bill Clinton did anything wrong. As I've said, if he did something wrong, he should be held accountable, no doubt. But can you say that if Donald Trump did something wrong, he should be held accountable?
Let's say like all of his felony counts that were all bullshit.
Wait, why were they bullshit?
Because they were just turned over by 5 judges. One judge that was solely Democrat was holding him accountable for it, and then 5 judges go, "Oh no, that's not right."
What are you talking about? His felony charges are still very much in place.
He just freaking won in the appellate court. Now,
what are you talking about? No case has been overturned in the appellate court.
No, it's not the news I heard.
Well, I don't know what news you're listening to. The only case that's involving Donald Trump that was recently heard by the appellate court was not the criminal one. It was a civil one, and they haven't released a judgment on that. They grilled Donald Trump's lawyers in the case just like they grilled the prosecutor.
What was the 5? What was the deal with their lawyers all going to be begging not to be sanctioned?
There are no sanctions going toward the New York lawyers.
Yeah, not yet, but it's going to happen.
Why do you think it's going to happen?
Because it was bullshit charges brought up against him.
What was bullshit?
The overvaluation of property and all that.
Really?
You know,
so
that's
when Donald Trump lied about the square footage of his penthouse in New York City, saying it was over 30,000 square feet, when in reality it was around 11,000 square feet.
Okay.
That's what's the issue there? What's bullshit
about that? You need to look into how that stuff works. You know,
everybody knows how that stuff works except you. You think it's bullshit.
No, I don't think so.
Hey, buddy, why don't you lie to the bank? Why don't you lie to the bank? Why don't you go tell the bank that you're worth a gazillion dollars? Why don't you do that?
Well, you know what? The bank doesn't care when you're doing commercial loans. They don't care what your credit rating is.
The bank definitely cares when you're doing commercial loans.
They don't care what your credit rating is. No, they don't. They care about the property, what it's worth, and everything else.
Bro,
have you ever done a commercial loan?
Oh my God! Wait. So now the argument is that banks don't care about commercial.
Okay, banks care. If you're trying to get a loan for a private loan for a house, yeah, they care. Try getting a commercial loan. They don't.
So when
care.
you
look at the property, they look at the valuation.
So a loan for a house would typically be significantly lower than a commercial loan. So when they're talking about like hundreds of millions of dollars, the bank doesn't care. But when they're talking about maybe like a mortgage that's $500,000, the bank suddenly cares.
They don't care about your credit rating because they care about
that's utter nonsense. That's utter nonsense.
And what it's going to do.
Yeah, that's utter nonsense. The banks absolutely care about the validity of the information that you're presenting them. By the way, we know that Deutsche Bank, for example, cared very much so about the accuracy of Donald Trump's information, because once they learned that some of the information was false, they pulled out of the deal.
Okay, that's shop around to different banks. Try running a business. Run a commercial
to be clear. To be clear,
they don't care.
You're just completely justifying fraud. Like Donald Trump lied to the banks, and when the banks found out that he lied, they pull out of the deal because they were like, "Yeah, this guy lied to us about these loans and how much he was worth," and that is fraud.
That's not why they pulled out. It's because they didn't see valuation at the end. That's all banks care about.
They didn't see
explain
they didn't see
valuation.
accuracy in Donald Trump's valuations, and also they absolutely care. If Donald Trump's saying that this building is worth $100 million, and I'm going to put it up as collateral for this loan,
what do you think
the
Donald
company, the
Trump's
bank,
credit
really wants to
rating
make sure
is?
that that building is worth $100 million. So if they default on the loan, they can get their money back. So
Do you think-
banks care about
what do you
fraud.
think- What do you think Donald Trump's credit rating is? Nobody gives a shit.
I don't know, and I don't care. I don't
give
care
a
what Donald
shit.
Trump's
Yeah,
credit
you don't
rating is.
care. The banks don't care
because they're not
They
even
worry
the
about
claim is not that
property
he
and what it's worth.
the claim is not that he
That's
lied
it.
about his credit rating,
That's
right? The
it.
claim is not that he lied about his
Yeah,
credit
well,
rating.
you
Nobody's
just
making that
said,
claim.
oh, they
The
definitely
claim is
care
that
about
he
the
lied
credit
about the
rating.
value of his
You're
properties
wrong.
and inflated his assets to
don't
get favorable
care
loans. And he was already
about
found
credit
liable of
ratings.
this by a judge in New York.
Yeah, well, a judge that was historically against Donald Trump and was creating stuff against Donald Trump.
So when Donald Trump's own accountants testified under oath at the trial that they were told to favorably inflate the value of assets and officially report those to the banks, you think that they're just lying? These are people that worked at the Trump organization for over 10 years?
That's the way commercial loans work. I'm telling
That is
you.
not how. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
yeah, absolutely they do.
Oh my God.
That's
yeah.
absolutely the way
That's
they do.
utter nonsense. That's utter nonsense.
All right, a commercial loan is a negotiation between you and the bank.
Oh my God.
That's 100% what it is. You
Wait. So
negotiate
yeah,
the
there's negotiations with banks even when you're trying to get a mortgage, right? So there's no problem with negotiating, saying, hey, we want a better interest rate, for example. But you can't lie about the value of your assets in negotiations. That's what we call fraud.
It happens all the time, buddy.
All right, so wait. If Donald Trump committed fraud, do you think he should be held accountable?
Okay, that is not fraud. That is
Okay,
not
if you
fraud.
wait, why don't you lie to the
It's-
bank then? Why don't you submit false financial documents to banks?
Because, like, if I'm going for a home mortgage, I'm not. I have to use
Why?
a third-party source to go through valuation.
Why? Why don't you do
A
that?
commercial loan is done through negotiation of what you think is something worth and what they think is something
Oh
is
my
worth.
God! But wait,
Then they
just
will
answer the question.
give you
Why don't you
difference.
lie to banks? Why don't you lie to them? Why don't you submit false
Okay,
financial
because-
documents?
Because there's a difference between commercial
No,
and
hold on.
private
Just
loan.
answer the question. Why?
I'm
Why
answering you,
So wait.
dipshit.
No, you're not. You're not
Listen to
answering
me.
why you don't submit false financial documents to banks. Why don't you do that?
Because, like, if I'm trying to buy something on my house, it's about a private loan. Private loans, you must use a third party to go through and figure out what the valuation is.
You
Right?
also
When
have
you're talking about a commercial loan. That's not the way it's done.
Wait, with
you have to
with
do freaking
with
foot
commercial
studies,
loans, you
have
can
to
use
do
third
street
parties
studies,
to
you have
evaluate the
do,
value of properties. What are you
traffic
talking about?
studies. You have to do traffic studies of what's going by the property and everything. Just because
They use third-party evaluators in commercial loans as well. I don't know where you're getting this information from, but why can't you just answer the question?
Because I've
Why
applied for commercial loans
don't you
before.
submit false financial documents when you're trying to get a loan from a bank?
All right, if you're going for a commercial loan,
No. Just
it is
answer
a-
the question. Just
I'm
answer the
answering
question.
You fuckface.
You're not answering the question.
Damn, you dumbass.
No,
Listen.
you're not. You keep dodging it. You keep dodging it and saying that
I'm
commercial
not-
loans are
I'm
different than
not
private loans.
dodging
You know what's not
anything.
different between commercial loans and private loans? The ability to commit fraud or not. You can't commit fraud whether it's commercial or personal
Okay.
and private. Why don't you submit false financial documents to banks?
Okay, because if I'm going for a commercial loan, I'm telling you what I think this thing is worth. Then you know what comes back? The bank. They go, I don't think your stuff is worth this. Okay, then you represent. Okay, I've done foot traffic studies. I've done car studies that's going by. This says this is what the traffic is by the place. There is potential for this.
But
here.
wait. Like you're this is, first of all, that's complete crap that you just like submit whatever you think a building is worth when you're trying to get a loan. That's also not true.
Absolutely
And also
it is.
I want to make it clear.
Absolutely it is.
I want to make it clear that
have you ever done
Can I finish a
before?
sentence right by
Have
any
you
chance
ever
without you
done
just
a
freaking
commercial
out?
loan before?
So Donald Trump didn't just
Have
say
you
Donald
ever
Trump
done
didn't
a
just say
commercial
that his
loan
buildings
before?
were worth like X amount of money because he wanted to. He didn't just say that. He submitted false evaluations that were apparently done by professionals to convince these banks that somebody came in and evaluated these properties. He submitted false earnings. He submitted false documents across the board. He didn't just say, yeah, I think my building's worth $100 million to these banks. He submitted a bunch of fake documents.
Can I ask you a
That
question?
is fraud.
Can I ask you a yes or no question?
You still have not answered my question yet. So once you answer my question, I'll happily answer yours. Why
I
don't
have
you
answered your
submit false
question.
financial documents to
Have
banks?
you ever went for a
Why
commercial
don't
loan?
you
Yes or
submit
no?
false financial documents
Have
to banks?
you ever went for a
Why,
commercial
just
loan?
answer.
Yes or
I'm
no?
happy to answer your question if you answer mine. Why
I have
don't you submit
answered
false
you.
financial?
Okay,
You have not.
the-
Why
I-
don't you?
it is not
Why don't
false
you
financial
submit false
records.
financial documents
It
to
is-
banks?
It is not false financial records.
I'm asking.
It
Wait,
is
wait,
a-
wait.
it is what you
You're
think
trying to apply the Trump case to this.
valuation of the-
It's a simple
No, I'm
question.
not.
Why don't you give banks
Okay.
false financial documents?
Okay, I have applied for commercial loans before.
I'm not
I
asking you
know
whether
how
you
this
see. You're not
works.
answering the question.
Have you-
I'm not
have
asking you
you
whether you've
ever
applied for
done
financial
that?
or commercial loans before. Why
I
don't
have.
you submit
have.
false financial documents to banks?
Okay, I'm not submitting false financial records.
I'm not asking whether you have or
I'm
not. I'm asking
asking-
why don't you do that?
I am telling you, it's not submitting false financial
Wait.
records.
Just answer the question.
Okay.
Why don't you submit false financial documents to banks?
Okay. All right. If it is completely false, it's not right.
Okay.
Right.
So, but wait, why is it? What
But-
happens if you do that? What happens if you do that?
There's nothing to do with it. There's nothing.
You are incapable of answering a simple question. Why don't you submit false financial documents to banks?
Okay.
Why don't you lie to the
answering
banks?
you. Because there's nothing wrong with it. It is a negotiation.
Wait, lying to banks is now okay?
Okay. It is a
Oh,
negotiation.
the mental
of
gymnastics
what
that you guys
think
do.
it is.
So here's the thing. Here's the answer to your question, which any sensible person would be able to answer, but you are not a sensible person. So when I ask you why don't you submit false financial documents to banks, you say because it's against the law, and that's fraud. Whether it's a commercial loan or it's a private loan, you
I didn't
cannot
say
lie
that.
to banks
I did
to
not
get
say that.
better loans.
I did not
That
say
is
that.
not true. That is completely
no, I
false.
did not
You cannot
say
lie to
that.
banks.
Okay.
And
You are making words into my mouth. That is not what I said.
I never, by the way, I
Okay.
never claimed you said any of this. This is what a sensible
yes, you
person
did. You
would
just
say.
Said that I just said that this is fraud. No, I didn't say
No,
that.
listen
What
to me
I'm
very
saying
closely.
is if you
Listen to me
do
very closely.
If you do a commercial loan, all right, commercial loan valuation is not. Yeah, it is a negotiation
That is
of
the
what you
dumbest thing
think
I've
the
ever heard in my
building is.
entire life.
All right, you've never done it, so you don't know.
That is the dumbest thing in my entire life. You don't. By the way, you don't have to. You don't have to
You're a
submit.
fucking
You don't have to do
idiot
commercial
because
loans to
you
know what
don't
fraud
know-
is.
you don't know how business
It doesn't
works.
take a rocket
You
science to be like,
don't
yeah,
know
you shouldn't
how-
lie to banks.
You don't know
Wait,
how
just so
fucking
wait.
business works,
So
buddy.
you've done commercial loans, right?
Yep.
Have you lied to
Okay.
banks? You submitted false financial documents to banks?
I put in what I feel the property is worth. And you know what happens? They come back and say, we think that it's worth less. Okay? Then would you
Wait.
loan
Have
me
you
this amount
submitted?
on it?
But in these negotiations, as you'd call it, you submit documents, right?
Yep.
And have you submitted documents with false evaluations?
No, you go.
Okay,
no, what
why
is a
not?
false
Why
evaluation?
not?
Because
Why not?
my opinion and other people's opinions doesn't make it an evaluation.
Then if you have submitted documents to banks based on your opinion of what it's worth, then you need to be fucking investigated, man. I mean,
Why?
you might have committed
Why?
some substantial business fraud
Why?
because you can't just submit when you're going for a loan
Yes,
to
you
a bank.
can.
You can't.
Yes, you can. Okay, a commercial loan is not I can get a commercial loan
Bro,
of 200% of what a place is worth.
No, what the fuck? You cannot submit a.
absolutely you
Oh my
can.
god!
Because
You
all
cannot.
you
You
have to
cannot
do is
submit a financial document to a bank claiming that a
Okay.
property is worth 200% of what it's actually worth.
Yeah, you
And here's
can.
the
It's done
example.
all
So
the time.
Donald Trump.
Look
Just
back
listen.
In the 80s,
Just
that happened all the time.
and
in
okay,
private loans.
murder was up in the 80s. It doesn't mean that murder being up in the 80s made it okay. So,
You are
as an example of Donald Trump's fraud is that when you can keep crying. It's fine. You can keep crying.
I'm not crying. I just
you're
can't
crying.
believe
It's a
how
little
big
bit of
a
tears. We can hear it
dumbass
dropping
you
on the
are.
phone. It's drip, drip. When Donald Trump was going to these banks
try
trying to get
going
better
through a
loans,
commercial
can you just listen for 5 seconds and stop talking? So when Donald Trump was going to these banks trying to
Yeah,
get
well,
better
you
loans
need
and
to
better
fucking
interest rates,
listen to
one of
me
the
too,
examples.
you
Can you just stop
dumbass.
talking? I promise nobody needs to hear you speak this much. I swear. So when Donald Trump was going to these banks and trying to get a
everybody
better
wants to
loan
hear
and
your
interest rate, all
dumbass
right,
talk.
you got it. I'm just going to mute you now. I gave you an opportunity to be quiet. You didn't take it. So when Donald Trump, an example, when Donald Trump was going to these banks to try to get better business loans, one of the examples of which he committed fraud was his properties up in New York State, in upstate New York. He was telling the banks that he was going to build these 7 mansions on this property, and that he was going to rent them out and sell them, and that the land was, many acres big, and it was very expensive. So they evaluated the land, Donald Trump, at around $155 million, right, for the 7 mansions and the land. Okay. And then they actually learned that they were not going to be able to build those 7 mansions, that they didn't have the permits to do it, that it was not going to actually be profitable. There was no point in building these mansions, right? That's the conclusion they came to. So then the Trump organization had evaluator come out and look at the land and give evaluation of the land. And the evaluator determined that the land was only around $5.5 million in worth. So the Trump organization knew this. They knew that the valuator gave them a significantly lower valuation than they initially evaluated the property at, with the 7 mansions and things like that. And they submitted the over $155 million valuation anyway to these banks to make them think that he was worth more money than he actually was. That's fraud. That's one example of many. The other is his penthouse in New York City. He said it was over 30,000 square feet. It wasn't. It was around 11,000 square feet. His properties in Scotland. He said he was going to build all of these thousands of properties in Scotland, these apartment buildings that he was going to rent out and sell and make a bunch of money. He did not have the permits to do so, didn't ever do so. Mar-a-Lago, for example, said it was worth significantly more than it actually was. Wrong. Every single property in New York City, Donald Trump lied about to these banks. That's fraud. That's business fraud. And whatever way you want to spin it, you can't do that.
Proof you can pay it back. That's it, man. That's it.
Okay, exactly. So let's follow that. You have to show proof that you can pay it back. If you are putting up buildings as collateral and property as collateral to show that you can pay it back, but those buildings are not worth what you're claiming that they're worth, and you know that they're not worth that, that's fraud.
No, it's not, man. It's valuation.
All right. Whatever loans you're doing, you got to get out of that business.
Loans work.
You have to get out of that business. You have to get out of the business. Whatever business you're in, where you can lie on financial documents.
You're not a fucking multimillionaire, and he's a billionaire.
And maybe you need to be investigated for some goddamn business fraud. Because if you're justifying somebody submitting false documents to banks, then maybe you're in the same boat as Mr. Trump, where you improperly got your money.
You need to learn how commercial loans work.
I think you need to learn how commercial loans work.
It's not like a private loan at all, dude. It's not like a private loan.
You know what? You're 100% right that private loans and commercial loans are different, no doubt.
Yep.
But what's consistent between these two types of loans is that you can't lie to the banks. You cannot lie to the banks.
Care how much what you're asking
they
for.
do.
They care about if you can pay the loan back.
Yes,
and
exactly.
If they can get their money back.
Exactly.
If they can close on
They
it.
care if you can pay the money back. And if you lie about how much money you have and your net worth to pay the money back, that's fraud.
Then you can pay it back.
So wait,
if you're
just to be clear. So wait,
loan,
in your view,
and you're a multi-billionaire, you can pay the loan back.
In your view, I can go to the bank tomorrow, get a commercial loan, submit completely bullshit documents saying that I'm a gazillionaire, and then have them accept it and sign a sworn affidavit saying that those valuations are correct to the best of my knowledge, and that we've had valuators come out and evaluate it, and it can all be total fraud. And then I get this money. That's okay.
That's not what I said.
Wait, I'm asking you a question.
I'm telling you, I'm answering you, bud. All right.
You're not
I'm saying is you say what you feel that property is worth. You have to put in loan values of what you feel the property is worth and what you are worth, what your corporation is worth. That's what they're going to look at. They don't care on a commercial loan what the actual property is worth. They care about
what the fuck
whether
are you
you're going to pay it
saying?
back.
Oh my god! Wait,
Well,
the banks? Holy shit! The banks are not going to care about what a property is actually worth. What are you talking about?
Well, because they care about what the potential of the property could be worth.
No, they do not. No. Oh my god! Oh my god! I cannot believe. I really hope you've not actually done corporate loans.
Clue, dude.
That is such bullshit. That
No,
is
it's
such
not,
crap.
man. You
The banks
learn how-
absolutely
learn
care
how
what a
business
property is
works,
worth.
man.
Because again, Donald Trump put these buildings up as collateral. So if the banks cannot recuperate their money based off
They're
of
gonna
false
pull it
evaluations,
from his
I'm sure the banks
assets.
are going to care. And again, you know how we know the banks care?
No.
Deutsche Bank pulled out of the deal.
There's just because one place pulled out of the deal doesn't make it bad. Dude, that's the way for you. Learn how big
They
business
pulled
works,
out of the
man.
deal because they were lied to.
No, they didn't pull out because they were lied to. Because
That's what they
didn't-
said.
They weren't. They weren't sure that they could get their money back.
That's
Trust me,
what
if
they
a bank thinks
testified
they're
to
gonna
in the
make
trial.
money, they're going to do everything they can to
That's
make
what they
money
testified
back.
to in the trial.
Yeah, well, dude,
They
you're
under oath,
you have
representatives for Deutsche Bank
zero
said that they pulled out of the deal
how
because
commercial
they
deals
were
work.
lied to. Buddy,
You can sit
you
here
have no
and
idea how
use
commercial
the-
loans
the
work. You just said that you can lie to
process.
banks and commercial loans and get away
I
with
never
it.
said that.
Yes,
I
you
never
did.
said
I
that.
said, can you
Never
go to a bank
said-
and a commercial loan and submit false financial documents? No problem.
And I said no. What
so you
I
can't do
said
that.
Was, you enter
Trump committed
what
business
you
fraud.
feel the property is worth.
That is so
and
dumb.
you have to put in what your company is worth. Do they feel they can get their money back at the end? That's
Yeah,
all they
except
care
if you're
about,
lying
man.
about the square. So let's just break this down really quickly to make it as simple for like a second grader to understand
Dude,
it. If you
yeah,
are lying
well,
about
you
the
need- you
square
need to do
footage of
that
your
'cause
property,
you're a fucking idiot, man.
Yeah, you're just not that bright, man. It's not my fault that you're just not that bright and don't know how to debate this. If you're lying about the square footage of your property or the potential of a property that you're saying is worth $160 million, if you're lying about the amount of money
dumbass.
made per year by certain property, that's fraud.
Well,
You cannot
can-
lie about your salary. You cannot lie about any of this stuff when you're going to get a loan in
Okay.
any capacity, whether it be a private loan or a corporate loan.
guarantee
And that means
his
that Donald
salary
Trump
was
committed
never-
fraud. And again,
his
if you are of the
salary was never
view, if you are of the
discussed
view
in-
that you
in
can go to
any one of
banks
those meetings.
and lie to them and get better loans because of those lies, then you, sir, probably committed some business fraud. And maybe that's something that federal
They
investigation should look
don't
into.
care what your salary is. I'm telling you right now. They care about what your company's
Yeah, all
net
right, you have a good
worth
rest of your
is,
night. This
what
is the
your net
stupidest shit I've
worth-
ever heard in my entire life. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Banks don't. Okay. All right. Banks don't. Yeah, there you go, everybody. Banks don't care what the value of your property is. They don't care about your salary now. What the fuck? Max, thank you for the $1. Yes, sir. I'm ready for the NCAA stream. I've been asking Chris for a minute now. Also, I'm placing my money on you to wipe the floor with him. Max, I'm telling you, like, Chris has beat me one time in NCAA. Like, I always beat Chris in NCAA. So if you want to bet, can we get like the over under on this? Can we get some betting market odds, please? Anyway, so aside from what that guy was saying, first of all, make sure to double tap the screen. Let's try to boost the likes. Drop a follow if you haven't been following already. Please don't go to banks and lie to them. Please don't do that. Please, please, please don't do that. I don't care if you're a Trump supporter, Democrat, whatever. Don't go to banks and lie to them. Don't submit false financial documents. And if you're getting a corporate loan, please don't just say what you think your company is worth and what you think your property is worth. Don't do that, okay? Please don't do that. Please don't do that. You will go to jail. You will go to jail. Just saying. Just say, please don't do that. Venmo, Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. I appreciate you all. If you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I will bring you up and we can talk. I had a business for 20 years. I knew that. There you go, Grandma. Apparently, that guy over there is, I don't know, line of banks, man. That's crazy. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't lie to banks. Let's bring up Mac. I think this guy came up previously. I'm not 100% sure. But if you are MAGA, we'll try to get to everybody tonight. We want to have a conversation with a bunch of people. Venmo, Cash App in the link in the bio. Again, if you want to support the live, Venmo, Cash App link in bio. All right, man, what's up? Why are you MAGA?
Hey, Harry.
Oh, it's this guy again, dude. Holy shit. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. It's that guy again. Anyway, all right, if you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up. Look at this guy. MAGA. Lori says MAGA. Let's try to bring up Lori. Let's see where she is. If she is in the box. Maybe she's in the box. Maybe she's in the box. Lori. She's not in the box. Lori is not in the box right now. Lori, I can't bring you up then. For some reason, I can't invite you. Got a request up. Let me in, says this person. I'll give you an invite. Please stop doing that. This guy's annoying me. Let's see if Jake... Is Jake here? Is Jake in the box? Jake is spamming MAGA. Let's bring up Corey. I'm just going to accept the guy from the box. Random guy in the box. See if he comes up. And while he does, we'll try to get other people up here as well. Corey, my man, were you in the bath right now? What the hell's going on? Why are you MAGA?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not much.
Just
man.
have a
Why are you
question for
MAGA?
you. Have you ever done any real estate transactions?
I've never done a real estate transactions, no.
Never in your life?
Nope.
So why do you speak to all this saying that it's fraud and everything else? So what
Let
they
me
have
just
to
ask you a
do-
simple question. Can you lie to banks?
You can lie to anybody.
Can you lie to police officers?
Absolutely.
Okay, let me rephrase. Can you lie to police officers and have it be legal?
Yes. Yes.
When is that the case? When can you lie to police officers?
Police officers can lie to you and you can lie to them.
You cannot lie to
Anytime.
police officers. You cannot
Yes,
lie to
you
the.
can.
Can you lie to the FBI?
I wouldn't know about the FBI. But
So you-
I've been through the police academy, and yes, you can absolutely lie to police
You cannot
officers.
lie to the you cannot lie to the police.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Bullshit.
Can you lie under oath?
No.
Okay, so you can't lie to anybody, right?
Well, you can lie under oath, but you'd be obviously committing perjury.
Yeah. The obviously the crux of the question is it legal? So can you lie under oath legally?
No,
Okay. You can't lie to the FBI, right?
I would imagine not.
Can you lie to the banks when you're submitting for loans?
Yes,
You can lie to banks when you're submitting for loans?
absolutely.
So you can sign a sworn affidavit, lying on that affidavit, saying that all the valuations are correct. You can get a valuation for a property that's, say, I don't know, worth $5 million and claim it's actually worth $160 million. You can lie.
I wouldn't quite push
Go
it
test
that
it.
far, but there is definitely some gray area with all
Go
that.
test it.
There's definitely gray area with that. Right?
You should apply for a loan at the bank and lie, and just lie, and see how that goes for you, because you can do it, right? So I think you should go lie to the banks and see just how it goes for you. By the way, you're just saying you wouldn't go that far. That's exactly what Donald Trump did. So you're saying I wouldn't go that far? That's what Donald Trump did.
But the thing is, what I'm saying, like, I'm very, like, I don't give a shit about Trump. I don't give a shit about Kamala Harris. I only
Kamala.
care about whatever. Kamala, whatever, fuck.
Well, it's her name, man.
All I'm saying is that when you do evaluations on properties, it's the bank's fiduciary duty to figure out the actual price, regardless of what you say. It doesn't matter if you brought 10,000 documents to the table and said that my property is worth this much. The bank fiduciary duty is to figure out what the actual property value is. And if the bank agrees
Wrong.
or does not agree, then that is where that takes place. The
That's
reason
wrong.
why Donald Trump, no, it's not wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong.
The
You
reason
can't.
why
If
it's not wrong.
It's
dude.
absolutely wrong. If you
Bullshit.
if you are defrauded, you guys get so triggered so easily. You're all the
Not
snowflakes,
defrauded,
It's fine.
man. That's
Look,
where you get so triggered.
If you lie to a bank and they accept your false documents as the reason they're giving you a loan, and they're like, yeah, based on these documents we believe to be real, we'll give you a loan. If you lie
they
to
did
them,
not do their fiduciary
that is
duty,
illegal. And
figuring
even
that
if
out. But
even
if
if
they
a
did not
bank,
do it-
even if
no,
a bank,
it doesn't matter.
even if a bank,
The
even if a
bank
bank
has
did,
their
let's just say
fiduciary
that
duty.
even if a bank just takes Donald Trump's word, he's just like, okay, I think all my properties are worth this. We're like, sure. You still cannot lie to the banks. There is no statute in New York where this took place where it says if a bank assumes the risk and they just give the loan no matter what, that there's no remedy for them to seek against the person that defrauded them. This is fraud. It's just plain and simple fraud. It's clear as day.
Did he ever default on a single loan?
It doesn't matter. The
I'm
statute.
just asking you.
You
Yes
might,
or no?
You might.
No, answer me yes or no.
But why is that relevant to the case?
It doesn't matter. I just want you
So
to
it's
answer.
not relevant to the case.
I didn't ask you if it was relevant. I asked
Yeah,
you a
I'm
question.
asking how is this question that you're asking
no,
relevant
no, no.
to the
I
case?
asked you a question. Is it relevant?
How
yes
is
or no?
it's no, it's not relevant to the case.
Not at all.
No. Him not defaulting or not defaulting on a loan is not relevant to this case because he still committed fraud. So he didn't default on any of these loans.
So nobody
he
was
paid the money
ever-
back,
nobody
but
was
that
ever
doesn't matter.
defrauded.
If you commit fraud, you
Everybody
still
got their
commit
money
fraud.
back.
If you commit fraud, you still commit fraud. Fraud is fraud.
Right. Fraud is fraud.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Okay, so when you commit fraud,
I do agree with you. Fraud is fraud.
Great.
But an opinion is not the same thing as a fiduciary duty of a bank to figure out what the actual price of a property is.
what does that even mean? An
If you've
opinion is
ever
not the
been
same as a
into-
fiduciary duty. What does that even mean? What are you talking about?
The bank. Hold on, sweetheart.
You're like bathing your daughter. Why don't you focus on that, man? Jesus.
I didn't say bathing my dog. Dude, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Aren't you in
Why
a
do you,
bath
like,
right now?
bring
We
up
can hear the
stupid shit
water
my
in the
granddaughter's
background.
doing?
Numbnuts. It sounds like it sounds like you're in a bathtub, brother.
I have a koi pond behind me. Is that all right
Koi
with you?
pond? There you go. That's what it is. It sounds like
cool
you're in a
with you?
bathtub. It sounds like you're in the bathroom in a bathtub.
Yeah, I'm not in the bathtub.
Okay, whatever. What are we going to say?
So you've never done a real estate transaction in your life?
Nope. Never.
Okay. So how do you pretend to know so much about the way real estate transactions take place if you've never done one?
So first of all, this was not a real estate transaction.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. A real estate transaction implies that you are selling real estate. Donald Trump was not selling real estate. This was going to a bank and getting a loan. Yeah, so he's going into the bank and getting a loan. And also, it's the law. We can read the law. So you've hopefully never killed somebody, but you know that murder is illegal, right? Because it's the law, right? You don't have to kill somebody to know that murder is illegal. Just like you don't have to engage in real estate or commit fraud or engage in business loans or commit fraud yourself to know that fraud is bad and against the law, right?
True.
So there you go. Saying you never done it. You don't need to know that something's bad. So just don't commit fraud and don't support people that do commit fraud. That's all. It's a simple point.
What I'm telling you is when you go to get a loan, okay, since you've never done one in your life, if you were to go get a loan and you were to say, I think my property is worth this much, this is what you present to them, and the bank accepts it, then that's on the bank. It's not on you.
If you knowingly submit a false evaluation, as Trump did, and there's plenty of evidence that he did, that's fraud. You are not allowed. There's no way
who is
that
defrauded
anybody is
then?
allowed. What?
Who is defrauded then?
The banks were defrauded. They had fraud committed
Did
against
the
them.
banks come to President Trump's trial and say, we would give him a loan again tomorrow?
They also pulled out of the deal because they were lied to.
But did they say that?
And also, this was a point of
yes or no.
contention.
Just
This was a
answer
point of
yes or no,
contention
man.
when they went to the appellate
You
court.
dance around so much shit. Just answer yes or no.
What's your question?
Did the banks come to Trump's defense and say we would give him another loan tomorrow?
They did. First of all, they didn't come to his defense. But second of all, they said that they didn't lose any money in these loans.
Again, yes or no?
I just answered your question. But what the law actually says is different than what you're implying here. That, the banks didn't suffer, which means that did Donald Trump do anything wrong? Yeah. Fraud is fraud. So whether you commit fraud and then pay all the money back, that's still illegal. You cannot commit fraud. And also, Donald Trump committed this fraud so he could make more money. So he paid all the money back, but he still enriched himself through fraud. You and I can't do that.
He absolutely enriched himself. I agree with you on that point.
Through fraud.
But the banks were willing to give him the loans regardless, and that is their duty to
you know
figure
what?
out
If-
what the property is worth, regardless of what he says it's worth.
And you know what?
So,
If
for
somebody's
your point,
defrauded, and if somebody's defrauded by somebody that commits fraud, that's still illegal. And if the person who's defrauded would once again engage in business with that person, that's fine. They're just not that good at what they do. They're just not that bright.
Well, apparently all these banks are like that then, right?
Yeah, I think that if somebody wants to go do business with Donald Trump, they're shooting themselves in the foot. But it doesn't mean that Donald Trump didn't commit fraud.
But they've done it time and time again.
Since then, I don't know if Deutsche Bank has actually given Donald Trump another loan. But
You
even
might wanna look that
if
one
they've
up.
given Donald Trump a loan, it doesn't change the fact that they were defrauded. So
I was
you
gonna
could
say,
theoretically.
you might want to look that up. They did it again.
Well, maybe even if they did, it's not relevant to the case because if somebody's defrauded
But
they
it's
give the person who
relevant to
defrauded
the
them more
fact of
money,
what
it
you're
is there.
saying.
It's still a bad decision no matter what, and it also has no relevance to the case.
It might be a bad decision, but they did it again. So tell me
But
again,
how is that relevant
why
to the
is that?
case? How is that relevant to the case?
Well, if they're willing to continue to keep on giving him loans, regardless of what the evaluations are, then that's on them. That's not on him. Period. Period.
It doesn't. Even if the banks are willing to continue to do business with Donald Trump, they are assuming that risk. But if they continue to get defrauded, that continues to be illegal.
No,
Now, I don't think that somebody who's already. I don't think that somebody who's defrauded should continue to do business they were defrauded by. But it's still fraud.
They're not being defrauded.
They were defrauded by Donald Trump.
Then why are they doing business with him again?
You go ask Deutsche Bank. Regardless,
Okay, well,
it
I'm
doesn't matter to the
asking-
case. It doesn't matter to the case. If they were Donald Trump
matter to
committed
the
fraud,
case.
it does not.
Yes,
It does not.
It does.
Donald Trump's lawyers didn't even argue that at the appellate court. They don't. It's not relevant to the case. Whether they broke the law or not is not relevant to whether I should say whether Deutsche Bank continues to do business with Donald Trump or not is not relevant to whether Donald Trump committed fraud. There's no relevancy there.
What I'm telling you is the fact is the banks have the fiduciary duty to make sure that everything is taken care of, that the property evaluations are correct. If they go in and they see that these property evaluations are not correct, then they should adjust them.
Sure,
That's
they
not
should
fraud.
adjust them. But if they're lied to and
But
they
it's
have
not fraud. No, listen, that is not fraud.
This is so fucking stupid. I'm sorry. This is so fucking stupid. So when Donald Trump's own accountants from the Trump Organization are testifying under oath in the trial that they were told to raise the value of their properties in a favorable way so that they could get better loans and interest rates from the banks, and they knowingly
Most
did this
people do
without
that.
basis, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, most
Go
people do
it.
that.
Go do it. Go. You should go to the banks and you should submit false valuations, and then you should
No,
and then you
that's
should
not what
bang
I'm
on the
saying.
then you should bang on the cell
Harry,
door when you're sitting
Harry,
in prison for
can
the
you
next
stop
20
for a
years about how
second?
the liberals are coming
Harry,
after
can you
you.
stop for a second?
Just
That's not what I'm saying. Listen, that is not what I'm saying.
That's exactly what you're saying.
That is not exactly what I'm
That's
saying.
exactly what you're saying.
What I am telling you is the fact is that you can set an evaluation on your property. Okay? The valuation on your property will have to be adjusted up or down based on what the bank thinks, not what you think.
So
You
okay,
can submit, no, listen, just hold on a second, man. Let me finish.
you're talking
So
utter
let
crap.
me finish.
Go. Okay,
Let
keep lying.
me
Go.
finish.
Keep lying. Keep lying. Go ahead.
I'm not lying.
You're
So you
lying
can
out your
say-
ass. But go ahead.
so-
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm not lying out my ass, dude. You're
You
a
are.
fucking prick, man.
Yeah, keep
You
keep
need to
yapping. Go ahead.
relax
Go ahead.
and
Keep
actually
yapping.
Listen to people for once
Keep
in your
yapping.
life.
Keep yapping. Well, you're the one up here saying that you can commit business fraud. So just
I'm
go
not
ahead.
saying you can commit business fraud.
Yes, you can.
All I'm saying is that you can put whatever evaluation you want on your property.
Nice.
Okay?
Nice.
And then the banks will tell you whether or not that is a good or bad evaluation, and they will adjust it up or down. Is that not true?
No, that's not true. You can't just put any valuation on your property when you're getting a loan. Also, that's
You
not
can't?
in terms of value. No,
It's
you
your
cannot
opinion.
do that. No,
It's your opinion.
when you go to get a loan from a bank, you don't put your opinion down.
Yeah, you do.
Holy fuck! Oh my god!
Well, you're telling me
Go
you've
do
never
that.
even
Go
had
do
one
that.
in
Go
your
try
life,
it,
dude.
Go try it.
I have.
Then maybe you need to be investigated as well. God damn. So that's also not what Donald Trump just did, by the way. He also lied about things that are not up for opinion, but are just a matter of fact. So he lied about the square footage of properties as well, saying that his
And I
penthouse
don't-
was 30.
I don't agree with
Hey,
that.
wait. You were just yapping about being interrupted. Now zip it.
I just told you I
Donald
don't agree
Trump,
with
I
that.
don't care. I don't care. You be quiet. Donald Trump also lied about the square footage. So his New York City penthouse said that it was around 30,000 square feet, when in reality, he himself acknowledged in emails in the 1990s that it was actually around 11,000 square feet. And in New York City, a difference of around 19,000 square feet can be tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars in valuation. And he submitted this to the
Absolutely.
banks. Is that fraud?
Yeah, I don't think you should have ever done that.
So that's fraud.
Yeah, it's
Great.
definitely
I'm glad
not.
we both agree that Donald Trump committed business fraud.
Yeah, it's definitely there's no reason to. If you have a 10,000 square foot house and you try to say it's a 30,000 square foot house, then yeah, that's wrong. Completely.
Yeah, so Donald Trump committed
100%.
business fraud.
100%.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Donald Trump committed business fraud.
But what I'm asking you is, as far as the evaluations go on properties, I'm not trying to argue with you too much because I don't really like arguing with people. But all I'm saying is, the banks are the ones that have to do their due diligence to make sure that the properties are what they say they are. And if the banks don't do it, then that's on the banks.
But I mean, you might think that personally, and you have the right to that opinion, but that's not what the law says in New York. That it's not. There's no penalty for the banks if they decide to take a faulty loan, or give somebody that's not quite reliable a bad loan. If the banks are like, yeah, we listen, we are taking you at your word. These documents you submitted to us, we believe them to be reliable. We're going to give you a loan. If that person is defrauding them, that is still illegal. There's no liability for the bank. That's how the law works in New York. Maybe you disagree with the law, but that's how the law is written. And if that's the way the law is written, that means Donald Trump broke the law. And even you yourself just acknowledged that Donald Trump broke the law.
I'm in California, so the laws might be different out here. Okay, but all I'm telling you, Harry, is the fact is the banks have to do their due diligence, and if they figure out, hey, this is wrong, then they should deny the loan. 100%.
Sure, I'm not disagreeing.
It's 11,000 square feet and it's 30,000 square feet. They should absolutely deny it. Dude,
Sure.
I am 100% on board with that.
Sure, I'm not. That's perfectly fine.
If the fact is that if they didn't do it and they don't care, then it's on the banks. Yeah, it might be. It might be fraudulent. I 100% agree with that. It is. If you say you have a 30,000 square foot place and it's only 11,000 square feet, yes, you are being fraudulent.
Great. I'm glad we agree.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
All right, Corey, thanks for coming up. Have a good one.
All right, man.
Jeez Louise. Essence, thank you for the $5. Can you go live with Parker again? That was great. Yeah, I mean, happy to do it. Parker and I have gone live before. We always have a good time when we debate. If you are MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up. Venmo, Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. Also, drop a follow if you haven't already. Double tap the screen. Let's try to get up to 300,000 likes. It helps boost the live, all that good stuff. I see. Where's this guy? Jake. I think he was spamming that he wants to come up. Let's bring him up here, and we'll talk to him if he's still here. Oh, there he is. All right,
Hello?
Jake. Why you MAGA, man?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Harry, first off, I just want to thank you for giving Republicans a platform to talk with you about these issues. And I think that's super important.
Sure.
I think we should just start off by talking about the border issue that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have created these past 4 years.
Okay. What did they do to create the border issue?
Well, first I want to agree on a few points. One, border crossings were up four times. Can we acknowledge that?
Yeah, border crossings have been up in recent years for sure. Well, let me. Sorry, I should say border apprehensions have been up in recent years. Yeah. You got to unmute. You're muted right now. We can't hear you. Figure it out, Jake. Figure it out, my man. Figure it out. Come on, man. Is he going to figure it out? What do we think? Over under 25 seconds? Is he just no? Not gonna. I'll give him a sec. I'll give him a sec. But I'll invite other. If you are MAGA, let me know in the chat so we can quickly get somebody else up here. Start off strong. Yeah, I know. Well, we'll kick Jake for now. We'll give somebody else a chance in the meantime. Let's bring up Jordan. Venmo, Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. Double tap the screen. Drop a follow if you haven't already. Let's try to get up to 300,000 likes. Hello?
Yeah, what's up, Harry?
What's up, man? Why you MAGA?
Hey, I just got one thing for you. So I just been keeping up with you and your Bryce Hall little fight. When is that going to happen? Because it's about to be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for Bryce Hall to come debate.
What do you mean? He's sent multiple TikToks requesting for you to show up in your.
Yeah, I asked him to come debate. And he hasn't done that yet.
Kamala Harris.
When is he going to come debate? I'm like I've said that if any time, any place, Bryce Hall could come on this live right now and we could debate. He still won't do it. Seems like he's a little scared. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
What about? I just saw your other TikTok. If I complete this pass, what was that about?
The what?
Your TikTok. If I complete this pass, you were like, I forget what it was, but
I don't know what
it
you're
was.
talking about.
Hold on, let me go pull it up real quick. I'll be right
You don't,
back.
I mean, you don't have to go pull it up. You can just like, it's fine. It's like whatever. Are you making a point about this specific video or like what?
Yeah, hold on. Just hold on. Kick me real quick. I'll be back.
Okay. No promises you come back. All right. What the fuck are people talking about? All right. If you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up and we can talk. You can tell me why you're MAGA. Sorry. Heaters says he's MAGA. Can't invite him up for some reason. Oh, let's bring up this guy. This guy's always the worst. And I talked to this guy a long time ago. This guy's always the worst. Ben, thank you for the $5. Harry, I don't know how you do it. MAGA seems to be getting more and more unhinged as we get closer to 11.5. That goalpost is so easily moved. Keep up the hard work. You're making a difference. Thank you, Ben. I totally agree, man. It's definitely getting much more unhinged as we get closer. I mean, watch this conversation, for example, with this guy. You're going to see that. Venmo, Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. It always goes an incredibly long way. Also, drop a follow. Also, I post on Snapchat. Go add me on Snapchat, link in bio. Harry.Sisson02 on Snapchat. And of course, I post on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. And drop a follow here. And double tap the screen. Let's try to get to 300,000 likes. Fill that bar. All right, Pete. What do you got for me? Why are you MAGA?
It's amazing. It's great that you say that I'm horrible. Thank you. Anyway, why are you disagreeing with the Democratic judges in New York Supreme Court?
What did the Democratic judges in? By the way, it was not the Supreme Court. It was the appellate court.
Oh, it wasn't the Supreme Court of?
No, it's not the Supreme Court.
And who's the appellate judges in the appeals court? Are they Democratic or Republican?
Yeah, they're Democratic, I believe.
So you're saying that all 5 of them made a mistake?
What mistake? What are you referencing? What decision in particular?
Well, they said what I was reading. Well, I seen a video all over TikTok where the judge said that the state was totally wrong by getting involved in the business deal, that the 2 people doing business are practically the same in level.
No, the judges didn't say that. First of all, the judges don't make like statements in questioning. They ask questions. So the judge was asking a question to the New York lawyer representing the Attorney General's office if it was proper for the state to get involved in a transaction between 2 entities, that being Trump and the bank. And they argued that, yes, it is their ability to do so based on how the law is written in New York and given the large amount of fraud that was conducted by Donald Trump. So that's the judge is asking a question. They also ask questions of Donald Trump's lawyers, but yeah.
Okay. Are you thinking it's going to get overturned?
No. I mean, the fine might be reduced, maybe, but in terms of him being found liable for fraud, no, it won't get overturned, in my view.
All right. So that was all bullshit where everybody's saying that the DA was asking for the judges not to like fine them and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know where this whole like fining thing came through of like sanctions or whatever or fines. I don't know where that came from or where that originated from, but there won't be sanctions. The case is not going to get overturned. It's like
because
you guys are talking about
all over, but I couldn't find the video of the judges saying that.
Yeah, because it doesn't exist.
Okay.
Like this is just total. Like I don't know. Like it's so baffling to me how a lot of people just believe utter crap about this stuff. Like you can just go read articles about it. Like just go read fact checks about it. Just stuff like that, man. It's that easy.
Yeah. I tried to look for something, but I couldn't find it.
Really? Because I was actually reading an article earlier today from a CNN article. It's takeaways from the appellate court questioning of the Trump case. It's online. You can go find it.
Okay. So like the whole thing is there online?
I mean, there are articles summing up the questioning. Yeah.
No, but is there like a full transcript?
I don't know if there's a full transcript. Probably there is at some place. I haven't read the full transcript, but I've read articles on it.
I'm not going to be long. I'm just going to say this. It's pretty disgusting where our country is at this moment, where Democrats think about Republicans or MAGAs like that we're disgusting, and MAGAs think of the left like being disgusting. It's a shame. It's a very bad spot for our country, and I don't know if this is going to get any better, but it don't look like it. Whoever wins is going to be not good for the people. I think the middle people are going to be in a better position, but left or right, I think we're going to be mocking each other even more. Like if Kamala wins, the right is going to go crazy, and if Trump wins, the left is going to go crazy. It's dangerous times in our country.
Yeah, so the obvious answer to this is electing Kamala Harris. She's talked about putting a Republican in her cabinet. She talked about forming a council of which have Republican advisors and Democratic advisors on policy positions. During the Biden administration, 4 of their 7 pieces of major policy were voted for by Republicans as well. So we should be electing people who are trying to bring the country together and work with the other side rather than people who don't. Donald Trump does not have any interest in working with Democrats. He's never had any interest in working with Democrats. And if you want to talk about you're upset with the division, perfectly fine. The division's terrible, and we wish it was never the case. But the fact of the matter is that division is fueled by Donald Trump. And if you don't want the division, then don't enable the people that divide. That's all.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Whoever wins, and I hope everything good, gets better in our country.
I certainly hope so as well. All right, Pete, have a good one, all right? Hey. Yeah, I mean, it's always crazy to me how like Republicans, specifically like Trump supporters, are like, yeah, I hate the division in the country. And I'm like, yeah, me too. That's why I'm not one of the many reasons why I'm not voting for Donald Trump. Evelyn, thank you so much for the $50 on Cash App, saying you always make my day. Keep doing what you do. Evelyn, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the $50 on Cash App. That is incredibly kind. Please show Evelyn some love in the chat, and just fill the chat with some W's right now. That is incredibly generous. Thank you, Evelyn, and thank you being here. Again, and supporting the live consistently. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much for being here. It's incredibly kind. And that's $50 is insane. I appreciate you. Once again, make sure to double tap the screen. Let's try to get up to 400,000 likes. Fill that little pink bar, as Law of the Wild would say. I think he's here, by the way. As Law of the Wild would say. Fill up that pink bar. Let's try to get up to 400,000 likes. If we all fill up the pink bar by double tapping the screen, we should be there in no time. So also drop a follow if you haven't already. And of course, the Venmo Cash App is in the link in the bio. All right, Bruce. How old are you? You real? Hello?
Can you hear me, Harry?
Yeah,
can you hear me?
Now. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. What's up, Harry? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. Hope you're doing well. Good, man. Thanks for having me on here. I just sort of want to ask you, I wanted to be in the basics. I feel like lots of the things we're talking about are maybe a little bit, I don't know, minor issues. So my first question I'm going to ask you is what makes something wrong? What makes something wrong or illegal?
What? I mean, what category of making something wrong? Because there are things that are wrong because it affects other people. There are things that are wrong that are just generally objectionable. I mean, there are things that are illegal because the laws say that they are.
Sure. Like basics. Like what makes like for example, what makes murder wrong?
Infringing on the rights of someone else, taking somebody's life unwillingly, unconsensually, obviously.
Okay. Let me dig deeper, but how do we know it's wrong?
So I'm not going to get into a philosophy session about like how we know things are immoral and how we know things are moral.
Yeah, but that goes with policy though, because policy is character and policy
but I'm happy to talk about certain morality regarding certain policy, but I'm not going to get into a philosophical discussion surrounding morality. It's a fascinating one, no doubt. But in terms of this live, we're not having a conversation right now. So if you're welcome to take that to a philosophy live. We're talking about politics.
Well,
right
I think that I understand that, but I think that does matter in terms of politics, though, because I feel like a lot of times we're not talking about the basics that matter, though. Like what the how should I say this?
Okay, let me ask you this: do you think that why is sexual assault wrong?
Well, because in Scripture, I mean, it talks about.
Okay, what?
Yeah.
You just say in Scripture? Why don't you just talk about how it's infringing on the rights of somebody else?
Well, okay, good question. Well, I think for me, how should I say this?
I'm sure you'd still. I hope that you'd still think that assault is wrong without Scripture, right?
Well, how do I know that though? Because if we're saying it's wrong, like some countries will allow it. Like if it like, I don't know, there's some cultures where maybe at some point in
Hold on.
in this world. Okay, go ahead.
Is assault wrong? Is assaulting
Yes.
a woman wrong?
Yes, of course.
If scripture didn't exist, would you still think that assault is wrong right now?
Well, it depends. Because culture changes, laws changes. 200 years ago, slavery was okay, but
Yeah,
it's
I'm asking
wrong now.
right now.
But
Right
okay.
now. By the way,
Okay.
I think that even you can acknowledge right now that slavery is wrong. Even if the law said it's
Yeah.
fine, it would still be wrong, right? So
Sure.
is assault wrong right now, even without citing scripture?
Yes, but I need to know,
Okay, great.
how do I know how it's wrong?
All right. I'm going to give you one more chance. So assault's wrong.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Donald Trump assaulted a woman, and you acknowledge that assault is wrong, right? You want to talk?
Who did he assault though?
E. Jean
I haven't
Carroll.
heard. Is that the lady that? Is she the older woman? Is that who that is?
Yeah, she's older now, but when she was assaulted, she was younger. When Donald Trump was younger,
Okay. She definitely has some mental health condition though, because
she does
I
not
saw
have
some
any mental health
interviews.
conditions.
Well, I've seen her interviews, and I could definitely see something off.
Oh,
just
wait,
'cause,
where did you
mental
get
health-
your psychology degree? Where'd you get your doctorate?
psychology degree? No, mental health runs. No, I just know family members
Well, then how do
or
you make
friends
that determination?
Good question. Well, I'm not a professional, but
Right. So I don't know if you have like
but something's off though.
I don't know, man. I then if
The
we're just going to
interview
go
when she
assigning
took
things,
it-
I think
when she-
something off
but-
with you, buddy. I mean, if we're just going to go assigning things.
Really, something's off with me. Okay.
Yeah.
But the
I mean, when I ask you,
the Democrat Party
when I ask
is
you,
not
when I ask
weird.
you, why do you think assault is wrong, and you
Yeah.
go, well, how do I know it's wrong? I think that's true. If we're just going to be saying if we're just going to be assigning things to people without being professionals in these fields, then I think there's something off with you. Sure. But point is that that's me saying that is dumb because I'm not a professional.
Well,
I don't know evidence
are
to
you
suggest that.
but so are you a psychologist? How do you know something's wrong with me? Because you're doing the same thing I did, which was my mistake.
I'm proving how that argument's bad.
Okay. Well,
Exactly. So you would think it was
okay.
unfair for me to assign something to you because I'm not a professional and I have no expertise when it comes to
Well, what
psychology.
factual evidence-
Just like
what-
it would be
okay.
it'd be wrong for you to assign something to E. Jean Carroll. And by the way, even if she had something, if she had a mental condition, it doesn't mean she gets assaulted, right? It doesn't whether she has something wrong
what's
with
the
her
factual
mentally or
action?
not.
Yeah,
it doesn't
but
mean she gets assaulted. Come on.
But you need to know a good sense of reality. When I saw her interview with CBS, I don't know the news source. So a couple years ago, they were touring her house, asking her questions. She nicknamed a lot of things, a lot of weird things.
So?
I'm not saying she has. Okay,
care.
it was just odd. It was odd.
Who
It was
the fuck
odd.
cares?
It was odd.
I don't care what somebody does in their own house or if they give a nickname to this fucking sculpture. I couldn't care less. I
It's
do
just
care
odd.
about a presidential candidate running for office when he's assulted women, and that's the guy presumably you're
where's the
voting for.
factual proof? Okay, I may not be educated on that, but what factual proof is there that shows he assaulted her? Is it just her word?
So it's not only her word; it's also the word of her friends, of which she corroborated the story, or she told the story, I should say, and then they corroborated it under oath. They had a psychologist testify under oath about E. Jean Carroll, the statement that she made to her, and the reliability of her testimony. There was also Donald Trump's deposition that he did, where he was asked questions about the assault that took place against E. Jean Carroll. And there's also things that actually weren't submitted into the case, but are pretty damaging. For example, there was the dress that E. Jean Carroll was wearing the day that Donald Trump assaulted her. And on that dress, when they tested it, they found an unidentified male's DNA. And they asked Donald Trump to give over his DNA voluntarily for testing because it's a civil case. It's not criminal. They can't compel him. And he refused to do so for 3 years. Now, that seems pretty strange because, any good defense lawyer will tell you if there's a 0% chance that your DNA is on that dress, you should give it over so you can be exonerated. But if there's a chance that it is on the dress, and you should not give your DNA over. And Donald Trump refused for 3 years to give his DNA over, which is pretty suspect. And also, Donald Trump has a long history of assaulting women and being accused of assault and bragging about assault. And so it's a pattern of behavior as well.
I've never heard of bragging of assault. That's not true.
Really? Because he was
Now
on
that-
audio talking about how he grabs women by the blank and he doesn't even wait. He just does it.
That's smack talk. I'm not saying I did that, because But as a guy, it's smack talk. And honestly, what's more important to me is policy.
When did you start hanging around with guys that brag about assaulting women or like smack talk about assaulting women? What guys do you hang around with?
Did you play football in high school, dude? Like, look, dude, I'm a believer. I'm waiting till marriage. That's not my lifestyle. Okay. So I'm going to put that out there. Now, as a man, when I was in high school, even out of high school, some men do talk like that. Okay.
Hold on.
So
I'm not saying that some men don't talk like that. There are men out there like Donald Trump who talk like that. The question is it okay? And would you want somebody who talks like that running the country? You're talking about kids in high school who still should not be speaking like that, by the way. They're about to be grown men. They should not be talking about assaulting women. But this is somebody running to be president of the United States.
So let me ask you this. Does your past define you?
In some ways, yes.
So what about I'm not attacking anyone, but we all have a past. And, your guy Dean has said some things in his past that are not great. And he's part of your group. And, I wish him the best, but he has a past of things.
Hold on.
So why? I'm just saying, why don't? Okay, go ahead.
This is not something Donald Trump did when he was 14 years old. Right? Everybody when they're 14, 15, 16 years old are probably not the best of people because they're still growing up. They're still learning who they are and they're making mistakes that will define them. This is somebody who is in his 50s. He's a grown ass man talking about assaulting women and bragging about doing it and talking about how he doesn't even wait. He just does it. He just goes because he's just so attracted to beautiful women, according to him. So, yeah, that if you're 50 years old and you're bragging about assaulting women, and to this day, if he's still making incredibly disgusting comments about women, we have a problem here.
Okay, but wasn't that thing with Dean like 2 years ago? How old is he now?
I don't know the specifics of what happened with Dean.
Okay,
but
my point is, it's not about Dean. It's not about Dean. That's not my main point here. My main point is, we all have a past. We've all made mistakes.
Yes, but would you say that a 50-year-old making a mistake is the same as a 15-year-old making a mistake?
I don't know if Dean was 15 when he said that, but
I'm just ballparking.
In general, okay. I see it really minor because what I'm focused more is the big picture, man. Okay, so big picture is security. I want people to flourish. I want people to be doing well, no matter if you're left or right. I want people to flourish in life financially. I don't want them just surviving. I want them to be safe. And people are like struggling right now. And I think all these trying to pick up Trump's past, trying to pick up things from the past doesn't help the present right now. And honestly, what does Kamala, I'm just going to say Harris, okay? What does Harris bring to the table that Trump doesn't?
So just to be clear, I think some people in the chat know more about this than I do. And they're saying that Dean was 14 at the time. And
he was 14 and 22? And 22?
No, I think the main, so he's 19 now. A lot of these stuff took place apparently. I don't know what took place in 2022, but a lot of this main stuff are in the chat saying that he was 14. A lot of these people know a lot more than I do. Yeah, people are saying 20, so it took place in 20.
But lots of these, but my point in saying with Dean, it's not just Dean. I'm just saying in general.
Let me answer your question. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
We don't have to hash over Dean because Dean has to take accountability and apologize. And I think
yeah, exactly. That's not. I'm not trying to attack the guy.
Yeah,
so
great.
go ahead.
When it comes to what does Harris bring to the table that Donald Trump doesn't, competency, leadership, good policy, morality, all of these things, Kamala Harris is infinitely better in these categories than Donald Trump.
Okay. So one thing I want to ask you though, because what I have confused about a lot of things I'm hearing from Democrats on social media, things like that, I look at results, right? The past 4 years have been tremendous. It's been terrible. The pull from Afghanistan, the inflation, the wars going on, the open borders, illegal immigrants, us paying flights to immigrants to come here. I mean, I did a lot of serving for veterans, and honestly, they don't get taken care of. So I'm not a great debater. I'm just glad to be here, get to talk to you. But what I don't understand is the results, right? They've had so many years to close the border. My family came from immigrants. My mom's Colombian. My dad's from England. So I'm the first American. So I get that struggle. So I look at results. So tell me why America is where it's at right now.
Yeah. So a lot of what you just cited has nothing to do with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. So inflation going up, for example, nothing to do with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. There was global inflation. This was due to factors outside of their control, such as supply chains and, of course, the pandemic shutting down the entire global economy. When it comes to the border is not open. Right now, border crossings are lower. I should say border encounters are lower than they were under Donald Trump's presidency at certain points in 2019 and 2020. Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
You can look this up. I can show you an article on it if you want me to show you an article on it?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah,
what's the news source from?
I think it's CBS.
Okay, we'll see.
Let's see here. So the Border Patrol, actually it's NBC, at fewer than 54,000 apprehensions. The number is also the lowest since August 2020 during the Trump administration, and it's similar to September totals in 2018, 2019, and 2020. And this is via NBC. The article is called Attempted Border Crossings Drop to the Lowest Level of the Biden Presidency in September. So right now, they are lower than they were under Donald Trump's administration in 2020.
Okay.
So that's number one. The border's not open, right? And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have tried a number of times to get immigration policy passed, and Republicans have rejected it a number of times. For example, on day one of Biden's presidency, he introduced an immigration bill called the U.S. Citizenships Act of 2021. You can look this up if you'd like as well. I'd highly encourage it. Rejected by Republicans. Recently, there was a bipartisan border bill that included that was written by Democrats and Republicans that included investments in Border Patrol, hiring more agents to deal with asylum seekers, expanding immigration courts, investing in state-of-the-art technology to scan for drugs coming through the border, and more. That bill was killed by Republicans in Congress, specifically Donald Trump. He called up his buddies in Congress, told them to vote against it because he didn't want the Democrats to get a win on immigration, one of the main issues that he was running on. And he even said this at a rally, saying, if the bill fails, please blame me. Blame me if the bill fails. That's what Donald Trump said. It's his own words. So I don't know how we can blame Democrats anymore for a problem at the border when the Republicans are the only people standing in the way of immigration reform.
Okay, my only question is, most media sources that I listen to are very left. I should say this. How as a conservative can I trust the news when most of the time on left-wing sources or just news sources in general are more prone to the left in terms of how they say things? I mean, even when the assassination attempt happened, they didn't even say it was an assassination attempt right away. They were like, oh, like Trump got hurt, got hurt or something minor. It wasn't like, oh, it was an assassination attempt. It just seems to me most of the time with the news, and I have a hard time getting my facts there, maybe when I was a young kid and innocent, but as I developed, I really feel it's very left, the news is very left wing.
Think about that. If you think the news is left wing, then maybe that tells you something, right? Maybe that should tell you that, the entire media is not conspiring against Donald Trump, that just a lot of what Donald Trump does is pretty shitty. And so for example, let's just use your example of the assassination attempt. A lot of media outlets withheld calling it an assassination attempt because they wanted to wait for official confirmation from police. Because think about this, for example, media exhibits a tremendous amount of caution before jumping on a story, which is good. We should do that because theoretically, let's just say CNN ran an article before they knew saying Trump assassination attempt. But it came out later that it actually wasn't an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Maybe it was, something else happened. They were trying to go after somebody else. Just to say theoretically, that would be a really, really big deal. That would be a huge retraction from CNN. And that would, certainly hurt the credibility of the network. So a lot of these companies, by the way, what's up, Paris? Great to see you. Get out and vote, please. You're in a great state. Please go do that. But I know you will. You're fantastic. So that's for example. but also like there's great news outlets out there that truly don't have a political bias, like the Associated Press, like Reuters, like BBC. And I read the New York Times, I read the Washington Post. I think they're great. They are also not always that nice to Joe Biden and Democrats. They are pretty blunt when it comes to certain coverage. So I wouldn't listen to Fox News, for example.
No, sure. I listen to Valuetainment. Do you know Valuetainment?
I am not familiar with Valuetainment.
You don't know PBD podcast. You don't know Patrick, Matt David, or M David, something like that. You don't know?
No.
Okay. They're pretty big. I don't know. That's where I get most of my news source from, and Twitter a little bit. But
get it from reliable sources, please. That's all I ask. You can disagree with me. That's perfectly fine. But we have a big problem in this country right now where people can't even agree on the facts. And if we can't agree on the facts, then we can't even have a conversation. So that's all I ask.
That's sort of why I went to a psychological intro first, because I feel like you said, the facts.
Yeah.
And I think to me, knowing what's right and what's wrong is going to change how we see things. And I'm not forcing that on anyone else. But like, for example, abortion, I'm going to have a different perspective on that than say you do, just because of our political beliefs and things like that. But I don't know, man. I don't think Harris is fit for the job. She hasn't done enough interviews. I'm just going to be unbiased. She hasn't done enough interviews. I'm just being honest. She hasn't done enough interviews. When she talks, I'm not really getting anything out of it. It's just sort of going in circles. That's how I see it. And most of the time she's laughing. Right. What does Trump do?
I'm just curious. Have you heard Donald Trump speak recently?
Recently?
Yeah.
Not every day, but I agree with his policies. And I think policies are character. And I think the policies that Democrats make don't align with my values when it comes to most of the things. Let me ask you this. So I'm in the South, and so let me ask you this. Originally from New York, but let me ask you this. Why are most Democratic states have higher crime, higher inflation, and most people are let's look at California and Gavin Newsom, for example. Why do most people leave there for like Texas or Florida when it's Democratic ran? And that's who you support. That's what you want, right? You want Gavin Newsom and things like that.
Yeah. So, funnily enough, Gavin Newsom actually said this in his debate with Ron DeSantis. More people are leaving Florida for California than California for Florida. And that's just one example. Also, it's not inherently true that more Democratic states have more crime. Actually, per capita, I think the list has like 7 Republican states in the top 10 and 3 Democratically run states in the top 10.
I'll look into that. Not sure.
Yeah, per capita, actually, there's more crime in Republican states, and there's more things like gun deaths in Republican states per capita as well. More poverty in Republican states per capita as well. Things of that nature. And in terms of like people leaving California, first of all, California is great. I would love to live in California one day. But there's also
for the gas. You like the gas there, man?
California's just gorgeous. It's a beautiful state, and you don't have lunatics like Ron DeSantis running it, which is nice.
Ron DeSantis is a lunatic. Okay.
Yes, Ron DeSantis is a lunatic. Yeah, he sucks.
I'm a loan officer, and I can tell you a lot of people are leaving California. When I speak to people in California, they complain about the policies. And I heard you talking earlier about mortgages and things like that. I'm not in purchase or commercial. I focus mostly on refis and home equity loans and things like that. So I'm not really sure about all that. But I will say that if a customer gives me a value, I can take that value, because usually what we do is we ask, hey, how much do you think your house is worth? And we take their word. Now we'll get an appraisal done if it's required, and we will send an appraisal out to them, and we'll get the value back and things like that. So I'm not sure what's going on there. And this is pre-2008. So the mortgage industry has changed a lot. There's a lot of people that did a lot of shady things, even the banks. So just holding Trump accountable in that, I'm not sure about that. And, pre-2008, so it's much different. But anyways,
I won't relitigate that. But point is that Donald Trump he lied to banks. Like that's just it wasn't just a matter of like, oh well, his valuation was like ballpark. He was like $10,000 off, whatever. It's fine. But it wasn't like $10,000 off. It was hundreds of millions of dollars off, just to be clear. So,
what about Mr. Wonderful talking, like standing up for Trump, even though he's not really conservative? He's not even conservative, though.
Mr. Wonderful is more conservative than liberal, for sure.
Okay,
he's definitely conservative.
But he's in the business.
But Mark Cuban is voting for Kamala Harris, for example. For example.
Well, he's very liberal. That's why. So.
Kevin O'Leary's Republican. He's made this clear before. He had gone after Biden and Kamala Harris. Point is that Donald Trump lied to the banks. But also, and we'll wrap up the conversation here because I want to give other people an opportunity.
No, of course, yeah.
But I mean, your point about California, I just disagree with, and I also think the facts disagree with it. But anyway.
Well, it's higher inflation. A lot of people are moving from California to Texas, and I live in Texas, and people have moved here, especially during the COVID time. So,
yeah, I mean, there's more inflation because there's more people and more demand for products, and it's harder to fulfill, especially during the pandemic. But, and that's the case in more populated states generally anyway. Texas has typically more inflation than Oklahoma, even though it's a Republican run state. Right. And also to be clear, individual states can't dictate inflation rates. You know what I mean? They don't have that authority, or not authority, but that ability anyway. So,
well, I don't know. I think it's a little bit big. Anyways, last thing I'll say, Harry, is I don't know you that well. So, what is your education? How did you develop your skill set? That's my last question for you. How did you get into politics? I'm not wanting to get into politics, but I'm just curious to get to know you.
Yeah.
Where did you get your education?
I started looking to politics and reading about it when I was 15, when the 2020 election was happening, around 15, 16. And then ever since then, I've just kept reading about it. But now I'm still in college. I'm a senior in college studying politics and law, and have been reading ever since.
Okay, cool, man. Well, appreciate your time. You take care and stay safe, okay?
All right, Bruce. Have a good one, man. I appreciate it.
You too. All right, bye.
We've had some interesting people tonight. Connor, thank you for the thank you for the $10. I appreciate that comment. Didn't show me you were live. That's interesting, Connor. I appreciate you showing me that or telling me that. I didn't know that. Alondra, thank you for the $3. OMG, he was embarrassing. Yeah. I mean, not that guy. I think you were talking about another guy, but yeah, I agree. The guy a while ago was definitely not great. Venmo, Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. Drop a follow if you haven't already. Double tap the screen. Let's try to get up to 500,000 likes. I heard a lot of, I don't want to jinx myself. I've heard that a lot of people have been getting banned on TikTok recently. Chris got, I don't know if people were here last night when this happened, but Chris got banned for a week. Chris got banned for a week on TikTok Live. So let's hope that doesn't happen. We've been getting restricted a lot recently, things like that, like age restriction and stuff. Killer got why? I don't know. I think it's like TikTok Lives particular. I don't know if it's accounts as well. But anyway, what's up, Chris? Why you MAGA?
I've just been Republican all my life. I wanted to ask you a question about what's going on in Virginia and why the DOJ is now suing them for removing. Yep. What your thoughts are on that?
Yeah, so it's federal policy that states don't purge voter rolls 90 days before an election, and Virginia did that very close to an election. So that's why the DOJ is suing.
Okay, they're saying otherwise, but I don't.
Who's saying otherwise?
Virginia is saying otherwise.
Virginia saying otherwise? What is Virginia saying?
That it was further than 90 days.
I don't know. Well, they'll litigate in court. That's. You're asking why they sued. That's why we'll find out what happens in court.
Okay.
Is that all? Is that all you wanted to ask?
Oh yeah, that's all I wanted.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
All right. You have a good one, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Take care. Yeah, Alabama also got sued for the same thing, purging voter rolls. D. Earl, thank you for the $3, saying, when you're old enough, are you going to run for president? Serious question. If so, definitely get out and vote, or definitely got our vote and get out and vote. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. You never know. I mean, never say never. Wise men once said, never say never. All right, if you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up, and we will talk. You can tell me why on earth you're MAGA. It makes no sense. RJ Vega. Let's see if this guy's here. Is he in the box? Don't see him in the box. Where is he? Let's get him up here. I need to talk to him. He's not here. Can't invite him up, man. You have to be in the box. Well, you don't have to be in the box, but it helps, makes it easier for me to invite you. Bring me on, says TJ. Sure, why not? All right, here he comes. Make sure to drop a follow if you haven't already. We do these lives all the time. Venmo, Cash App, link in bio if you want to support the live. All that good stuff. Hello?
Yo.
Yeah, how old are you, man?
How old are you?
I'm 22. How old are you?
I'm 39.
Okay. Just have to make sure you're above age 18 to be on TikTok Live. That's all. All right. Why you MAGA?
Yeah, good point.
So why you MAGA?
I really like Trump.
Okay. Why?
Well, why do you hate him?
I can give you plenty of reasons why I don't like Donald Trump, but I'm more focused on why you actually like Trump.
I'm more interested in the reason why you hate him, actually.
So I'm happy to give you those reasons, but why do you like Trump? Like I'm Kamala Harris, you're supporting Trump, so why do you like Trump? And I'm happy to tell you why I support Kamala Harris and don't like Trump.
Yeah, but I mean, I hear you, but the thing is, you're the one that's on TikTok Live, so I want to hear.
As are you right now.
I want to hear why you hate him so much. You're the one that's on live. I'm not.
Is this just? Do you just not know why you like him? And you can be honest. Like, are you just trying to pivot? Are you just trying to flip the question because you don't know? And that, like, you can be like, I'm not trying to say that.
Honestly, I don't know. Like, I love the fact that you support Kamala Harris. Like, I'm just trying to hear whatever dialect. I mean, I'm just trying to hear your opinion. Why do you hate him so much?
Sure. Okay. I'll give you a free pass. He's a convicted felon. He's a proven sexual abuser, proven business fraudster, has been indicted in 4 different jurisdictions, convicted in one of them, 3 pending cases. He bullies people, makes fun of people, tried to overturn the election in 2020, mishandled a pandemic, didn't do anything as president except give the wealthy a huge tax cut. And he has very strong dictatorial tendencies that are very concerning, which I don't like. A lot of his former advisors have pointed that out. General Mark Milley, we just learned today, called Donald Trump a fascist at his core and that he's incredibly dangerous to the United States. This is the highest appointed position in the military that Donald Trump appointed, Mark Milley. And so he's just a really bad guy overall. And then with Kamala Harris, she's competent, she's experienced, she's decorated. And she's a good person, good leadership. She has good policies such as being pro-choice, wanting to invest in the middle class, cutting taxes for the middle class, wanting to make it easier to start a small business, wanting to build millions of houses to lower those housing costs, wanting to expand healthcare. Right now, because of the Biden-Harris administration, more people are insured than ever before, and things like that. So that's why. So why do you support Donald Trump and don't like Kamala Harris?
Well, it's not so much that I support Donald Trump. It's more or less why I don't support Kamala Harris.
Okay, why don't you support Kamala Harris?
She ain't done shit.
So she was district attorney of San Francisco, then attorney general of California, then a senator from California, now vice president, and now also running for president. And you're saying she hasn't done anything?
As far as my memory serves me, Donald Trump has done a whole lot worldwide. Businessman, as far as being, okay, now hold on. I gotta mute that because that's not showing up. Okay, no, so anyways, he's literally been the president and Kamala has not, so.
Yeah, so she's running for that position. And just because somebody was president, it doesn't mean that they were automatically a good president and should hold the role again.
If Donald Trump is such a bad person, why is he being eligible to run again?
Because there's no... Okay. All right. Wow. There's no restrictions in the Constitution for people that can run. You can be a convicted felon and run for president. You can assault women and run for president. You can commit business fraud and run for president. You can try to overturn an election and run for president.
Well, why is that a bad thing?
Why is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
Are you asking why is what he did bad, or why is it a bad thing that somebody who did that stuff can run for president?
Why is being a convicted felon a bad thing for running for president of the United States? He's already been president before, so he's running again because reasons.
I don't care. Yeah, I don't care if he's president once. It doesn't mean anything to me. Yeah, if you're a convicted felon, you're somebody who breaks the law, as Donald Trump has done so flagrantly, and then you're running to be president of the United States, which is tasked with upholding and enforcing the laws. I think that's quite contradictory. I think we need somebody in there who's actually enforced the law, actually prosecuted people for breaking the law, not people that break the law in the Oval Office. Kamala Harris actually has stood up for the rule of law. Donald Trump is clearly not.
Kamala has never been the president of the United States before. Trump has.
So what? I don't understand this point. It's like somebody just because you're president doesn't mean you're a good president.
You're talking about upholding the Constitution of the United States.
Yeah, which Donald Trump has called for the termination of, by the way.
When?
On Truth Social. You want to read it to you, the statement?
Please.
Yeah, it's a bad one. It's not good. It's one of his. One of the worst ones. If Donald Trump called for terminating the Constitution, would you still vote for him?
Wait, hold on. Say it again.
If Donald Trump called for the termination of the Constitution, would you still vote for him?
I need to hear what you're about to tell me before I can.
So he said, quote, on social media, quote, "A massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution." His official social media account put that out.
I don't know. I have a hard time believing that, honestly.
I understand why you'd have a hard time believing it, because it's crazy. But yeah, Trump called for the termination of the Constitution. There's articles on this. We have obviously his social media posts that you can find online if you like. He called for the termination of the Constitution. So I personally would never vote for somebody who wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States.
What does the Constitution represent?
Well, our Constitution's our founding document, man. It's our governing document. It protects us, protects our rights, protects our freedoms.
So what are we protecting?
Our freedoms, I just said. Rights and freedoms.
That sounds legit. So what is Kamala protecting?
What? What are you even asking, man?
What about the border? What's she protecting?
Yeah, so we tried to pass immigration reform. You know what? I'm not doing this anymore. You have a good rest of your night. I could go back and forth with you, but it's just not worth my time. It's just not worth it. People in the chat don't want it. I don't want it. It's just not worth it. It ain't. It's just not worth it, man. Avneet, thank you for the $1.50. Do you believe in God? I go between agnostic and atheist, personally. Hiram, thank you for the $3. I love what you're doing. Trump is a con man. I've been trying to debate you on a couple things for months. Will you bring me up sometime? Chef H4 on TikTok. Please read DMs. I think I can help you look at things from a different perspective. Harris 2024. Yeah, sure, man. Happy to talk. Although we are just only looking for debates. So, I only want to really talk to people who are opposed to me and like support Donald Trump. But I appreciate that for sure. I appreciate that a lot. And I appreciate the support. This guy's saying running scared. I feel like I got to maybe bring this guy up. If he's MAGA, got to talk to this guy. Wonder what he's yapping about. Make sure to drop a follow if you haven't already. We do these lives all the time. Double tap the screen. Let's try to get up to 600,000 likes. We're about to hit 500. That little bar that comes up when you double tap the screen, fill that entire bar, maybe once, maybe twice. It helps boost the live. And of course, the Venmo and the Cash App are in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. And final thing before we dive right in, I post on Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. All of those links are in my bio. And of course, TikTok as well. All right, man. Why you MAGA?
Okay, I'm for Donald Trump, and I'm not ashamed to be for Donald Trump. And the reasons why I'm not ashamed to be for Donald Trump is because he's pro-America, he's pro-American economy, he's against communist China, and China, the majority of our products in America is Chinese made. They're getting all the profit. They are literally making all the money here. So anybody who supports that cannot say they're American first. And so everything about Donald Trump, I don't like some of the personality traits. I don't like some of his decisions. But I'm sure that we all can disagree with that, with everybody's decisions. But I'm for Donald Trump because he's for America first, and for America's policies first.
Sure. So I see you in your bio, you say Christian preacher promoting reading the Bible, yeah?
Hey, before we get started, if this is a debate about Trump and Harris, Are we not going? Are we going to keep it about that, or are you going to?
Yeah, so you'll see what I'm about to say in a second. So I see that you're a preacher. How do you feel? And then you just made up
that you're about to try to attack my character. If that's the
it
case,
has nothing. It has nothing with your character. Why don't you just let me make the point first before assuming what I'm about to say?
Well, let's
so
keep it
I see that
political.
you're a preacher in your bio, and you're talking about products being made in China. How do you feel about the fact that Donald Trump's Bibles that he's selling for $60 were made in China, and now he's selling them for like a $3,000 up, a 3,000% uptick?
Yeah, I seen that on TikTok, but I actually got friends who has purchased it, and that's not true. It's made in America, so
it's literally not. We have documents confirming that these books have been imported from China.
Do you have a copy of it?
I would never buy a Trump Bible.
Okay, well, let me ask you this:
Just to be clear,
have you held a copy of it in your hand?
I have not held a copy of it in my hands.
Okay, then you
but I don't think you need to hold.
I got friends who own it and has took the
Hey,
pictures.
listen, where's this phone made? Where's this phone made?
It's made in China.
Yeah, have you held this phone?
Yeah, I have a copy of it, but that don't prove nothing.
Wait, do you have this phone?
The iPhone?
This phone.
I have an iPhone. I don't know what
Yeah, but do you
version.
have this phone, the one I'm holding in my hand?
Well, could you stop deflecting from the policy issues?
Wait, I'm just pointing out how bad your argument is, because this phone, you can acknowledge that this phone is made in China, because we know that Apple makes their products in China. But you're acknowledging that this phone is made in China, but you're not holding this phone. You don't have a copy of this phone. You don't have my phone. So how can you that same argument can be applied to?
No, it cannot. That doesn't make no sense.
The Bible, the whole Trump Bible. It's like, well, just because somebody doesn't have a copy of it and hasn't held it in their hands doesn't mean that they can't determine that obviously this book was not made in the United States. And again, I mean, have you read articles about this?
Okay, you're getting all your information off the internet, though.
I'm getting it from reliable sources, my man.
You haven't got it from people who actually own it, but can we get back to the policies? Because
so let me just read this to you quickly. Global Trade Records reviewed. I'm happy to talk about the policy in just a second. One sec. We'll just get through this because I don't even know how you're denying this. Global Trade Records reviewed by the Associated Press show a printing company in China's eastern city of Hangzhou shipped close to 120,000 of the Bibles to the United States between early February and late March. The estimated value of the three separate shippings was $342,000, or less than $3 a Bible, according to the databases that use custom data to track exports and imports. The minimum price for the Trump-backed Bible is $59.99. So we actually have global trade records proving that these Bibles were made in China.
Can we talk about political policies, please?
Yeah, no, I'm happy to talk about. So this is a political policy because you were bringing up the fact that Donald Trump is anti-China. He's so anti-China. But he's, making his Bibles in China and then selling them to people like your friend in the United States at a huge markup. So, not that anti-China, is he? Not that.
I didn't say he's anti-China. I said he's America first.
You said he's anti-China.
I said he's America first.
Are you serious? You said he's anti-China.
I said the majority of our products come from China.
Like Donald Trump's Bible, yeah.
Okay, even if it does, that don't prove nothing.
Well, I mean, you said that he's anti-China and then he's getting his Bible from China. So I don't know why you're saying like, yeah, Trump will make our products here in America, but he's making his own products in China. Like, why would you trust somebody who's making their products in China to not make products in China?
And why would you trust this information that you're finding on the internet?
Because it's all sourced and it's been confirmed by a number of news outlets.
The majority of the sources on the internet have been that are against Trump. Most of them are made up.
So see, this is one of the big problems in the United States, where we have folks like yourself who just outright deny negative stories about Donald Trump. There are extensive sources in all these stories, and a number of news outlets, both left and right, are reporting on this being the case.
Are you talking about the Russiagate story that was like worldwide?
I'm not talking about.
It turned out that CNN was lying, that Hillary Clinton turned over to fake dossier. The Russiagate story that the whole mainstream media actually.
I'm happy to talk about what happened with.
No, you're not.
To talk about that.
No, you're not. No, you're just wanting to try to.
No, I'll talk about that with you in a second. No problem.
That make you look like you're smart.
So
you're not willing to talk about policies.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? Let's talk about policies. Can you name me 5 things that Donald Trump got passed through Congress when he was president?
Okay. Yeah. Let me start off first by thinking he passed a law, or he passed and signed in about making Jerusalem the capital of Israel.
Not a policy that was passed through Congress. It's not passed through Congress. Try again. Give me something that was actually passed through Congress and signed into law. Come on. 5. You said I don't want to talk about policy, so please tell me all the policy. What did Donald Trump do as president? 5 policies he got passed through Congress.
All right, when you say passed through Congress, what? If I talk about he signed an executive order, are you going to say that's not a policy?
That's not through Congress. So I'm asking, like, I can name you 5 policies that Biden and Kamala got through Congress. So can you name me 5 that Donald Trump? You're saying that you want to talk about the policies. Let's talk policy. So 5 policies that Donald Trump got passed through Congress.
Okay, here's the. Okay, I'm gonna talk policy.
Great.
I'm gonna talk policy.
Yeah, things
So
he got
don't-
passed through Congress. Yeah, go ahead.
No. I didn't say pass through Congress. I said policy.
Wait. Yeah, well, getting something passed through Congress means that it got done.
Stop trying to manipulate and trying to gaslight.
What are you talking about? This is not manipulate. I'm asking you a simple. I'm asking you a simple question. There's no manipulation or gaslighting president.
One of the policies that he signed in as an executive order.
I'm not asking for executive orders.
So he could open up, and we
I'm not
started
asking for executive
and we started
orders.
pumping out all our oil instead of buying oil from these communist countries. We started selling our oil and started making money and started paying off our deficit.
Hello. I'm asking you to name 5 policies that got passed through Congress.
And I'm telling you that he signed an
So
executive
you can't.
order so we could produce more oil.
So
and
you
start
can't.
selling our oil instead of buying oil from countries who
So
want to.
you can't. So the answer is you can't name those 5 policies, right?
You're only worried about what's. If you can win an argument, you don't care about.
No,
if
I'm not.
can provide a
I
policy.
was trying to break
talking
down
about policies.
I was trying to break
I'm
down
not talking about what was passed through Congress. I'm talking about.
You're saying that I don't care about policy. I'm the one asking you to just name 5. I'm not asking you to name 20. Just name 5 policies of Donald Trump's that he got passed through Congress when he was president.
I didn't
Just
say
5.
let's talk about Congress. I said let's talk about policy. We
Yeah,
don't
let's
have to talk about.
Let's talk policy. So
executive
policy through
orders are
Congress.
policy.
Hey,
Executive orders are policy.
What's wrong with you right now? I'm asking you a very simple
I'm
question.
talking to a jerk face who's only so
jerk
prideful
face.
that you want to be
Very
that you
nice.
want to
That was.
seem right.
It
You
sounds
are
like
a
you're
jerk
stuck
face.
on the middle school playground. Can you take a breather?
Keep
Stop.
talking- no, you
just
keep
stop
talking
raging.
over me and you
Just
keep
take
trying
a
to-
breather. Just
you
take a
trying to-
breather.
You keep trying to gaslight, and you're like, no, we'll talk
I
about
think you're-
policies, but I can
what-
only say what you want me to say.
I think
not
you're
allowing
misusing-
me to talk openly.
I think-
You're only
I-
wanting me to say what you allowed me to say. You're not allowing me to talk openly about policies.
Okay, great.
Executive
Wrap it
orders
up.
are
Come on,
policies.
come on. Wrap it up. I think you're
Executive
misusing.
orders are policies.
Are you done? Okay. I
Well,
think
I'd
you're
like to
misusing.
talk about policies, but every time I do, you talk over me.
Okay,
and
just be
shut me
quiet.
down.
Just be quiet. I let you get your little
No, you did
rant
not.
out.
You talked over me the whole time.
Are you done? Are you done?
No, you didn't act like you.
Oh, mom's coming into the room. Get off that phone. What the hell just happened right there? So do I keep going or do I keep going or what? Yeah, W mom. I like that, DMC Neil. I like that. W mom, man, seriously. Thank you for throwing a wrench in that. Thank you for throwing a wrench in that. I appreciate that. Sarah, thank you for the $5. You're always bringing the truth bombs. My husband was the one that said you must have boxed. Sarah, keep it coming. Yeah, Sarah, I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Shout out to you and your husband. I appreciate both of you guys consistently supporting the live, and thank you for the $5. It means a lot. You're very kind. You're very kind. Is Bubba coming back? What I was going to say is that also make sure to drop a follow if you haven't already. Double tap. Wow, we hit 600,000 likes. Let's try to get to 700,000 likes. Why not? What I was going to say is that I don't think that this guy understands what the word gaslight means. I don't think he knows what gaslight means. He keeps using it improperly. I was like, name 5 policies, and he was like, you're gaslighting me. What? I don't know what that means. Hello, Bubba. Are you coming back? Come on. Can you at least just unmute and tell me to kick you if you're not coming back?
I mean, I was talking.
Can you at least just unmute and tell me if you're not coming back?
So Bubba, there's an echo. Just swipe up out of the app and come back. All right. Just literally swipe up and I'll unmute you. It's just an echo for all of us. All right. So swipe up, go at it. Just swipe out at TikTok. Don't swipe away the app. Just swipe up. Just leave it. Not figuring it out yet. Just swipe up out of the app because there's an echo. So swipe up, and when you come back, there won't be an echo. All right. So just do that for me really quickly, if you would be so kind. There you go. Awesome. Thank you. Now just come back. Amazing. So you should be good now. Let's see. And then click on your profile and you can unmute. Click right here on your thing, and there should be an unmute button at the top. Okay, good. So what I was saying to you is, I I don't think you know what the word gaslighting means because you keep using it improperly. If I'm asking you like a simple question about the person you support, that's not gaslighting. That's not like trying to convince you of something that didn't happen that you thought. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Point is, can you name me 5 policies that Donald Trump got passed through Congress? Because this is like, a president gets most of their major policies and major accomplishments through Congress. That's the laws that are most significant, that have the most reach, that impact the most people. Executive orders are somewhat powerful, but not quite. So can you name me some policies that got passed through Congress, please? Simple question.
You know what debate means?
Yeah, I know it. I'm asking you a question. Can you answer, please?
Do you know what debate means?
Are you peeing?
When you invited me up here to debate,
are you peeing?
When you invited me up here to debate,
are you peeing?
When you invited me, can you shut up and let me talk?
Are you peeing?
When you invited me up here to debate, and I got on here, and you said,
"What the fuck?
Stop accusing and saying stupid stuff."
Stop accusing it.
I'm outside with my dog, retard.
Whoa.
Yeah,
if you say that again, you're
do-
gone. If you say that again, you're
All you
gone.
want to do is name call, and you want to twist things, and you want to gaslight, and you want to say, hey, I'll debate you, but you know what, when you talk about, you say whenever you talk about your
Listen up,
policies,
numbnuts. Listen up, numbnuts. So religious of you, by the way. Mr. Preacher in the comments are using the R word on a live stream. You say that again, you're gone. You hear me? All right? You say that again, you're gone. So religious of you. So love thy neighbor. My God, dude. Fucking freaks, man. Figure it out, bro. Figure it out how to unmute.
Freaks, man.
And now you got to swipe out of the app again. Oh, wait. There we go. I think we're good. Yeah, don't say that again or you're gone, all right?
You're a hypocrite, man.
What's hypocritical?
What's hypocritical is this, is you call me numbnuts, you call me all these different things, but then I say a word that you don't like, and all of a sudden you're like, hey. Oh, so
well, it is my live, so I do make the rules. And yeah, when you say something like the R word, yeah, that's not permissible on my live. So if you don't like the rules, you can leave. That's perfectly fine. You're welcome to call me numbnuts, by the way. There's just certain words that you can't say.
But you won't. I mean, you keep trying to
this is a debate, right? I'm asking you to name policy that Donald Trump got passed through Congress, and you're incapable.
You're incapable. I said, when you was ranting about all this other stuff, I said, let's talk about policy. And then when we start talking about policy, you try to draw a line and say, I can't talk about executive order policy.
I'm happy to talk about executive orders. But why can't you name policy passed through Congress? Because I can name policy that Obama passed through Congress, that Biden-Harris got passed through Congress, but you can't name policy that Donald Trump got passed through Congress. It just seems like you're very misinformed.
Why are you so scared for me to talk about executive orders he passed?
Because executive orders are very weak legally. They don't have much reach. They don't impact that many people, and they're very susceptible to lawsuits. Whereas Congress, getting a bill passed through Congress, is significant.
You're scared.
It impacts more people. It's more legally sound. Right?
It's legal. It's legal.
Yeah, nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that executive orders aren't legal, but they're more susceptible to legal challenges than a law that's passed through Congress and signed by the president.
But
so I'm just asking you, what policies did Donald Trump get passed through Congress?
Like a coward.
What did Donald Trump? Okay,
people.
Then name 5 executive orders that Donald Trump signed, and then we'll do both. Name executive orders and laws that Donald Trump got passed through Congress.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Name both.
The first executive order that I'm going to talk about that he passed, that's a policy, is whenever he signed in that we can start drilling. Okay, needless to say, let me say it. He signed an executive order that he took away all the red tape to where in America we could start drilling our oil. And while he was president, we started producing so much oil that we were no longer buying it from other countries.
We're producing more oil right now.
We started selling it to other countries, and we had a good stockpile.
We're producing more oil right now.
Let me finish. Policy number 2 that
wait. We're going to go one by one. We're producing more oil right now and drilling more oil right now.
Then why the heck have we had to sell off half of our reserve according to?
Yeah, we sold some of our. First of all, when Joe Biden did that, that was a master class. We made $500 million from doing that, and we refilled our reserves. But we did that to lower gas prices because gas prices are not based on how much oil we're drilling here in the United States. It's based on how much supply there is in the global market. So when there's a low supply in the global market, gas prices are high everywhere. And we saw that during the pandemic where countries in Europe, for example, had higher gas prices than we did. Canada had higher gas prices than we did because it's based on global markets, not the United States.
So you agree that the more oil that we produce, the lower gas will be?
Well, it's not inherent that if the United States produces more oil, there will be lower gas prices because there are other countries that produce more oil. But yeah, for the record, yeah, we are. Joe Biden's in favor of this. Kamala Harris is in favor of this. We want to produce oil.
They shut down half the stuff whenever they came in.
They're producing more oil than ever before.
They reversed practically almost every executive order that Trump signed in on day one.
Then this just goes to further prove my argument that executive orders are not that effective, because if they reverse all these executive orders, yet we're still producing more oil, that shows you that executive orders aren't that far-reaching.
The same amount of oil that we
producing.
Trump.
We are producing more. We're not. We're not producing more oil.
That's one of Trump.
So the Energy Information Administration, it's a federal government agency, proves this.
Is that the same agency, or are they under the same administration that's telling all the false information that they are right now?
What are you talking about? This is a federal government agency. Here's the article. Here's the article from it, and we have graphs. So here's like 2023 on the far right. You can see that's a big blue line, and then you see like under Donald Trump, there's no line that's as big as 2023, right? So we're producing more oil right now than ever before in American history under Joe Biden.
I got a question. The people who are putting that poll out, do you think there's the same ones? Do you think they're the same? Do you think they're the same ones that are looking at Donald Trump's rallies and seeing how many people are there versus rallies and how many people are there?
This is the Energy Information Administration. This is not the Biden campaign or the Harris campaign or any Democratic campaign. This is a government agency.
You don't think they collude?
No. Do you have any evidence of collusion?
With the administration and other
places? With the Energy Information Administration, do you have any evidence that these numbers are faulty?
No, I don't. But there's
so then stop hypothesizing about numbers being faulty because you want them to be faulty. We are producing more oil.
Want them to be faulty, but
you do want them to be faulty because it helps your argument. We are producing more oil right now than ever before in American history under Joe Biden. So clearly, the Democrats are not opposed to oil, and they're doing more in producing oil than Donald Trump did.
No, they're not.
Nolan Boyd talking point. Your talking point's bad. Now, what's the next executive order?
Point ain't bad because under the Democratic presidency, they was colluding with Facebook, pressuring them into come after the.
This is so. First of all, you were the one that was you were the one that was complaining earlier about not talking about policy, and now you're talking about a conspiracy of like the Democrats were colluding with Facebook. My God,
Mark Zuckerberg
take off the tinfoil hat. Put off the tinfoil hat.
Mark Zuckerberg came out and admitted it.
Mark Zuckerberg in a letter said that there were requests from the administration to take down certain things on Facebook, which were vaccine misinformation in particular, which is legal, and the Trump administration did it as well.
That is not legal.
The Supreme Court upheld it.
That is not legal for a federal government to weaponize a private entity.
Have you seen Missouri versus Biden? You're not familiar with this case?
That's a private entity. Just because you support criminals and you support these people, don't make it right.
You literally support a criminal.
No, I don't.
Trump is a convicted felon.
I don't even know what to say to you right now.
You support a criminal. You supported somebody who was convicted of 34 felonies.
Like, when you step back and you say, why was he convicted? Was it trumped up stuff? It's like it was 100% trumped up stuff.
Why do you think it was trumped up? How?
Because even like
No.
Our former, even Bill Barr said that it was the most ridiculous stuff ever. That stuff should never been brought.
How?
Even all the leading lawyers said this is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what leading lawyers you're citing, but please stop citing leading lawyers, a very vague term, and just tell me how it was trumped up. What was bad about the case?
Every single bit of it was trumped up.
You don't know. You don't know. Why would you claim it if you don't know? I can sense. I can sense it. It's like I can sense when you don't know something. I can sense it. That's why, like, you say something like that, I'm going to press you. So tell me, what was bad about the case?
You can't sense nothing. I'm just kind of amazed that you're just such an idiot that you don't believe that any of it.
Oh, then prove me wrong. If I'm such an idiot, what was bad about the case? Please, put all your knowledge on us.
Everything about it was bad. There was nothing about it that was justified.
What was bad about it?
I don't have to. You're innocent until proven guilty.
He's been proven guilty.
That's why he's been proven guilty. No, he's not. He's not in prison. No, I'm not saying he's not been proven guilty. I'm saying he's not in prison.
Yes. So what? He was proven guilty in front of a jury. Sentencing is in November.
It will never hold up. And if it does,
why?
And if it does,
but why?
If it does.
You're not saying anything. You're just making these very making these very vague terms of like, oh, the case is so faulty, it's not going to hold up. Why is it faulty? What was faulty about the case?
What's faulty about the case is it's all made up stuff. It's all trumped up stuff.
What was made up?
It's all polluted stuff.
What was made up?
Every bit of it. Every bit of it.
Like what? What specifically was made up?
Like all of it.
Like what?
All of it.
What? What part of it?
Every bit of it.
See, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah,
dude. Are you not like embarrassed when you come up here and I'm asking you like to name what you think was faulty about the case, and you're just sitting there on your ass and you don't know? Is this not like embarrassing when you do stuff like this?
I'm not embarrassed because you can't name.
Okay, name the charges. What was he charged with? What was he charged with?
Every single bit of it was wrong.
What was he charged with? What were the charges?
You can't name what he was charged with.
Yes, I can. I've done it a number of times on this live. What was he charged with?
Well, you said a lot of things on this live that ain't true.
What was he charged with? What was he charged with? It's way more mature if you just say, I don't know. That's perfectly fine. But what was he charged with?
Policy number 2 that he signed an executive order.
No. What was he charged with?
No, because
I'm sorry. You cannot make a claim and then run away from it when I press you on the claim. What was he charged with?
You keep trying to get off on all these rabbit trails.
You brought it up. What was he charged with? You opened the door. I'm sorry. As they'd say when you're talking to a witness in a legal case, you open the door.
You're running scared.
Your
like
Honor,
you did
he
the
opened the
last
door.
caller. You're running scared like you did the last caller when you brought up the board.
No. Hey, hold on. Hey, listen, how about this? We'll make a deal. If you tell me what he was charged with, we'll talk about all the policy.
No, that's what you said last time when I started going through policies. You said,
exactly. And we went one by one, and I proved you wrong on the first policy you talked about. What was he charged with?
You got off on rabbit trails.
What was he charged with?
When I was trying to go through, you didn't even let me finish. You said,
what was he charged with?
You told me to be quiet and let me name 5.
No,
when I named
what was he charged with? What was he charged with?
You started talking over me, trying to drag it out. You wouldn't even let me finish the 5 policies.
Hey, it's so easy to answer the question if you know the answer. What was he charged with?
Don't be a liar. Let me finish talking about the policies.
No, I'm sorry. You brought up a point. You brought up a point. You don't get to claim. I'm sorry. I don't want to mute you. I don't want to mute you, but I will do it. Please stop talking. I don't want to mute you.
You're a fraidy cat.
I don't. A fraidy cat? Jesus, that's a new one. You brought up a topic saying that the case was fraudulent, saying that the charges were trumped up. You brought this up. You made the claim. You don't get to make a claim and then run away. Bubba, you don't get to make a claim.
Name 5 policies.
Yeah, and we're going one by one. You brought this up. So what were the charges, Bubba?
Without you talking.
What were the charges?
You promised I could speak without you talking.
Yeah, and once you answer what the charges were and why the cases were trumped up, you can tell me the policy. But right now we're talking about this because you brought it up.
You've said that 10 times.
What
you're a liar, sir.
were the charges?
You've said that 10 times. You're a liar.
This is so embarrassing, man. This is actually so embarrassing. You cannot.
You're gaslighting
Bubba,
so bad.
If you just say, I don't know, we can move on.
You're such a narcissist.
Yeah,
I'm
such a narcissist because I'm asking you why you made a claim and why you believe what you believe. How terrible of me to do in a debate. God, you're such a snowflake.
That's not why you're. That's not why you're narcissist.
Oh,
you're narcissist.
I'm asking. I'm just asking you a simple question. I'm just asking you a simple question.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You're jumping
it's a simple
from one
question.
thing to
What are the
another.
charges? What are the
You're
charges?
You're jumping from one thing to another, and when I answer that, you'll jump to another thing.
You brought it up.
But you're not being honest.
Bubba, let me run you back.
Finish my conversations. You're not being honest.
Let me run you back on how we got to this. I brought up the Energy Information Administration in relation to gas prices. And you were saying, well, is it colluding? And I said, what do you mean are they colluding? What's the evidence of collusion? You said, well, Facebook is colluding. And I said, that's utter nonsense. The Trump administration did this as well. And you're like, well, no, they did. I'm like, yes, they did. We have documents on this. And then you started to bring up the trumped up charges against him in the cases. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And you're like, yeah, the charges were trumped up against him. And I asked you, how are the charges trumped up against him? Why do you think that? You wouldn't answer the question. I kept asking. You wouldn't answer the question. Then you
I
said,
did answer the question, but you didn't like my answer.
You did not answer.
I'm not spending 10, 15 minutes.
You don't have to spend 10, 15 minutes. It's a simple question. What were the charges?
Because you don't want to let me finish naming the policies.
What were the charges? What were the charges?
You originally said I could finish saying, but you keep interrupting me.
How about this? I'll make you a deal. If you tell me what the charges were, you can go through all 5 and I won't say a word.
You've already said that, and you've lied.
I have not said that. I have not said that. If you can prove me wrong and tell me what the charges were and why the case was trumped up, I'll be quiet for the rest of the 5. The other 4 you have to mention.
Dude, you done said that like 10 times, and every time I
did not say that 10 times. What?
Yeah, you said it a lot.
What is wrong with you? Why can't you just name the charges?
Because every time I answer one of your questions, you get off on another one. You don't let me finish. You answer another one.
Answer. What's the charges, Bubba? What are the charges that were brought up against Donald Trump?
You dragged me down this rabbit hole.
You brought it up. What were the charges?
I also brought up the policies. Let me finish speaking about the policies.
Bubba, I'm sorry. No, I gave you leeway with not having to mention policies through Congress, and that's perfectly fine. Because and you were like having a hissy fit. You're having a mental breakdown in aisle 3 of the grocery store. You were kicking in your Spider-Man shoes as a 6-year-old, and the shoes were lighting up when you did it. Your mom is saying, "Get up off the floor." You wouldn't get off the floor. So I let you have some leeway there. But on this, I'm asking you. I'm not going to let you get away with this. So either there's 3 options here. Either 1, you leave because you don't know the answer, or 2, you say, I don't know. And that's perfectly fine and we can move on. Or 3, you answer, what are the charges and why was the case trumped up in your view?
You do not really want to debate. You're such a narcissist.
You can't, you got to stop throwing around big words that you don't understand, man. You got to stop throwing around the gaslighting and the narcissism. You don't understand what these words are.
If you could shut up for 2 minutes,
no, I'm sorry, Bubba. Bubba, no, I'm sorry. Bubba, no, I'm sorry. I gave you the opportunity to name a policy, and then you brought up the case. You opened the door. You got to stop using words you don't understand the definition of. You got to stop using words you don't understand. What are the charges? You can't just. I'm asking you a very simple question about something that you said, and then you can't have a hissy fit when I'm asking you a question about something you said. You can't have a hissy fit.
You can't handle Donald Trump's policies. You can't. That's why you can't debate.
Bubba, my man. I'm telling you, we're going to talk about all the policies in just a second. But I'm asking you a simple question.
That's why you're not debating. You just railroad everybody.
I gave you leeway
just cut
when it
people
came
off when they. No, you don't.
I'm so sick of this shit. You're genuinely a child. I gave you leeway when it came to Donald Trump's policies through Congress.
No, you did not.
I'm not giving you leeway on this. You cannot come up here and lie about our criminal justice system and get away with it. So either you won, I gave you 3 options. Either 1, you leave, 2, you say, I don't know, or 3, you tell me what the charges were and how they're trumped up. Go.
Let's talk about policy.
Bubba, tell me how the charges were trumped up. Bubba,
let's talk about policy.
We will not move on from this.
Let's talk about policy.
We will not move on from this.
Policy.
We will not move on from this until you tell me what the charges were. No, I'm sorry. Nope. I'm sorry. You will not get unmuted unless you can tell me what the charges were. And you are welcome to leave because we all know you don't know. So either 1, you say you don't know, 2, you leave, or you tell me what the charges were. And I will not move on from this. So, and now you know this. These are my conditions. So you're welcome to leave. But you don't know what you're talking about. You don't get to come up here and lie about our criminal justice system and get away with it. So you know the rules.
You're a liar.
I'm laying it down right now. The foot is down. So either you tell me what the charges were, you tell me why they were trumped up, or you leave. And I'll happy to find somebody else that's actually willing to engage in conversation and not have a hissy fit when they're asked a simple question about something they said. Okay? So either you oblige or you get the fuck out. Now, opportunity is yours. And I'm going to make it very clear. What you say next will determine this. So what are the charges, Bubba?
The charges was this, that you're going to die and go.
So preacher of you. So I'm going to give you one more chance. And I'm going to give you one more chance to not embarrass yourself, right? One more chance. What were the charges? What were the charges? Simple question. 4 words. What were the charges? 4 words. And if you can't name it, then get the hell out of the live. Go ahead.
Are you ready?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for, what are the charges?
Are you ready for me to name the charges?
Yep.
Are you sure?
100%. Go. Quick. Make it quick. Let's move on. Come on. I want to get past this.
Are you sure you can handle the charges?
Yeah, I know what the charges are. Let's go. Come on.
Are you sure you can handle the charges?
Can we move past this? Can you just tell me what the charges are and we can move on, please?
Are you positive that you can really handle them?
Yes, I'm positive. Let's go. Come on. Chop, chop.
I don't know if you can handle them, though.
Okay. One more time. What were the charges? Go. And if you say anything else other than charges, you're gone.
They charged Donald J. Trump with being the best president ever.
You have a good rest of your night. You have a good rest of your night. It is truly, like, have you no shame? Have you no shame? Have you no shame? Have you no shame, my man? Have you no shame? None. Zero. Nada. Zilch. Not a little bit. None. Yeah, that's the answer. Janet, thank you for the $1 in honor of Bubba's mom. Interesting. Jaden, thank you for the $1. I truly cannot take it with these MAGA freaks. Every single person that comes up is so misinformed and talking out of their you know what. It's actually so sad people don't know anything about the guy they praise. I know. It's crazy. Stanley, thank you for the $10 as well, saying go boy. I appreciate it, Stanley. Thank you for being here. Sanford, thank you for the $5 to drop him. Well, there you go. I mean, my God. Sarah, thank you for the $10. I'm sorry, but here's more. Don't apologize. And by the way, can you come to my country club in small town of Kentucky and debate these guys? I need backup. Sarah, I'll be there. Get me in the ring with these people. Raphael, thank you for the $20 saying keep up the hard work. Raphael, I appreciate it so much. And Lee, thank you for the boxing gloves. We hit our goal. I appreciate all the support, everybody. Make sure to drop a follow if you haven't already. We do these lives all the time. Double tap the screen. Let's try to get up to 800,000 likes. Spam those shares down there. Venmo, Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. And also, of course, I post on every single social media platform. Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, YouTube. All of those links are in my bio if you would like to support on those. Zachary. I see Zachary's in the chat. Let's see if he's requesting up. Wait, what the fuck? Sorry. Sorry, I saw somebody's profile picture. Zachary. Zachary. There he is. Zachary Fry. Oh. Let's bring him up. Let's get him up. Hello, how old are you?
Hello.
Yeah, how old are you?
What up, man? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
You said how old am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, 23.
All right, why you MAGA?
I don't know, man. I used to be like Democratic side and then moved to a Republican side probably 2 years ago. I don't know. I've just seen just overall of everything over the past few years and been, I don't know, fed all this information from both sides. It's kind of a lot. I don't know, man. I would say I'm in the middle.
But you're voting for Donald Trump?
Yeah, I am.
But that doesn't seem very in the middle, does it?
No, I mean, I would say I've just seen like both sides, the debates. I mean, I think both vice presidents did a better job debating. I mean, I support both of them rather than who's going at it now, but I definitely support Donald Trump over Kamala.
Yeah, but why?
Just of things he's done for the country, and I feel like he supports America more than. What'd you say?
What did he get done for the country? Oh God, his Wi-Fi is terrible. Yeah, I'm a head him on out. The Wi-Fi is just bad. You know, I think President Obama made a good point that a lot of men are not voting for Kamala Harris because she's a woman. I think that's a really good point. I think there are a lot of men doing that. I think there are a lot of men that genuinely are like that. Brent, thank you for the $10. This is for your patience because I just cannot. Yeah, I mean, Brent, seriously, some of these folks are crazy. Angelica, thank you for the $4 you stayed on. I appreciate that, Angelica. Thank you so much. Michaela, thank you for the $5. View personalized note. Can you say five policies that Biden-Harris got through Congress just to prove that we can? Yeah, absolutely. The American Rescue Plan. Oh, shout out everybody coming from Tommy's Live. I appreciate you guys. Shout out Tommy. We love Tommy. He's fantastic. The American Rescue Plan, which was the COVID relief bill that Biden passed, is the first major thing that he got passed when he was in office. The Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which was the first piece of major gun legislation in 30 years. The Chips and Science Act, which invested in manufacturing, making these little chips that we have in our phones here in America as opposed to abroad. One sec. Passing the PACT Act, which of course is expanding healthcare for veterans, and of course the Inflation Reduction Act, which is the largest investment in fighting climate change in world history and helped reduce healthcare costs. There are your 5. Good ones. What's up, man? Why you MAGA?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know much about the policy, but I used to own a logistics company, and as soon as the new administration came into the office, the freight loads went down and the diesel went up. Me as a small business owner, I paid my truckers 30% of the freight loads, and it was difficult me to come continue operations and pay my truckers fair wages.
Because we were in the middle of a pandemic when they came into office.
Okay, so that's why I'm MAGA.
Yeah, so that's why. That has nothing to do with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. You're asking like why were freight loads more, why were imports more, things like that. It was because of the pandemic. So Joe Biden and Kamala Harris didn't obviously create the pandemic. Thank you, Snoopy, for the subscription. I appreciate you.
Yeah, they didn't, but the freight loads changed after the administration, not before the pandemic. Because Trump was still in office.
The administration, not before the pandemic. What does that mean?
So, like, Trump was still in administration during the pandemic, correct?
Yeah, but the main economic effects of the pandemic weren't felt for another year or so later. I think he's leaving. This is the sign that he's leaving. That was quick. Venmo, Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live, because we talk to folks like this. Mallory, thank you for the $5 for the Advil for the headache you must have after talking to these insane MAGA people. Yeah, seriously. He's leaving, by the way. Seriously, Mallory, it's terrible. Logan, thank you for the $1. Can you please talk about how Kamala Harris is drinking beer while Florida people are dying? Just even like for a few seconds. I'm not educated. So she went on Stephen Colbert. That was really quick, by the way. That was like maybe fastest debate ever. She went on Stephen Colbert and had a beer with Stephen Colbert. And meanwhile, while all this was going on, while she was doing that, first of all, she can do interviews. I mean, she's campaigning to be president of the United States, right? So that's first and foremost. Second of all, she has coordinated with the Biden administration all this FEMA response for Florida, for all of these different states. And all of these states have been very complimentary of the Biden administration and the federal response. They've said that, they've gotten everything they've needed. We're both Democrats and Republican politicians have said both of those things. So, when you're campaigning for president, you walk and chew, especially if you're already elected, you walk and chew gum at the same time. You campaign. Thank you for the gift sub. You campaign by doing interviews, like stuff like that, but you can also do your job. And I just also want to point out that Donald Trump was golfing during the COVID pandemic. He would just like go to his golf course for the day while thousands of people were dying every single day. So, yeah. Kamala Harris has a beer on a show that she went on, and apparently that's offensive. But Donald Trump golfing through the COVID pandemic, yeah, no problem. Just overlook it. Shauna Ann, thank you for the $5. Keep doing what you do. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for your support. Venmo, Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. Also drop a follow if you haven't already. We're almost at 1 million likes, everybody. So keep double tapping the screen. Let's try to run it up, and we'll get there. All right, man. Why you MAGA?
Well, I appreciate what Donald Trump is running on. He's running on Agenda 47. More particularly, I'm interested in Section 1 of Chapter 1 of Agenda 47 when he talks about energy diversity.
So anything else? Or is that you just want to talk about that?
I want to talk about that.
So, but no other policy you can name of Donald Trump, so you like?
Well, we'll get through those.
Okay, so what about Donald Trump's energy diversity policy do you like?
Well, what he wants to do with liquefied natural gas, that's a huge problem right now, as well as nuclear energy.
Can you elaborate a little bit further on that, please? What does he want to do with nuclear energy? What does he want to do with liquefied natural gas?
Well, if you look at liquefied natural gas, there's companies like ExxonMobil, Phillips 66, Duke Energy, Freeport LNG, that their projects are being held back by permitting. The permitting has taken forever, and typically it takes between 3 and 8 years to get those permits passed. When he was in office last, he allowed to remove some of those bottlenecks within the permitting processes through FERC.
Yeah, problem is when you remove those restrictions when it comes to permitting is that the effect on the climate is not fully appreciated nor investigated. So having this time between an approval for a permit and then actual drilling starting is good. So these things can be investigated. That's also required by federal law. We have to give adequate time for federal law to do its job. And I don't think anybody disagrees with investigating the effects on the climate and the surrounding environment of these projects, unless you're like a total freak. And also, to be clear, the Biden administration has approved at least in their first 2 years of office, approved more permits at a faster rate than the Trump administration did in their first 2 years of office. And Trump also just doesn't give a damn about climate change, so that's also pretty shitty. I don't think we should. We can care about climate change and drill. We don't have to do one or the other. Whereas like Kamala Harris is saying, let's do both. Let's focus on both. And Donald Trump doesn't give a damn. He's saying he thinks it's a hoax. So.
Well, I've never seen anywhere where it's a federal law for time allocation. The time is irrelevant in regards to the law. So
that's not
I don't
true.
know where you got that from.
It's federal law. It's federal law. I can probably like try to find it for you when we're talking, but it's federal law to investigate the climate ramifications as a result of a drilling project.
We're not talking about drilling. We're talking about specifically liquefied natural gas plants.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's federal law.
It's not.
Yes, it is. And I can spend time and find. What do you mean, how so?
Well, because it's completely different process. You're
it's just like generally. Sorry, I'm trying to like read and talk at the same time.
It's okay. Take your time.
Generally, it's just kind of like across the board.
What are you talking about?
Meaning that like with natural gas projects, there are investigations of how that natural gas project, or just any project generally surrounding like energy, will affect the climate around it.
Well, are you referring to the failure modes effective analysis when you're talking about the environmental aspects and impacts with a project?
Say that again.
Are you referring to failure modes effective analysis in regards to the environmental impacts and aspects of a specific project?
Yeah, pretty much. It's more so of the impacts on the surrounding environment. Yeah. So I'm trying to like read and talk at the same time as a federal law form.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. Those are done pretty quickly, and no matter what business you work for, if you're going to start a project, you're going to have to go through that. But specifically for liquefied natural gas, you've got to go through FERC. There's a process in which it's done by, but he's allowing to remove some of the regulations that are bottlenecks. Just like if you look at the Code of Federal Regulations of 1910, 1926, those were written and published in the 70s, right? And there's not a lot of updates that happen. There's a lot of outdated policy, especially even when it comes to OSHA.
Can you like cite specific reforms that Donald Trump wants to make? Like what like regulations are you saying that bottleneck this project process?
I'll right off the top of my head, I don't have them readily available.
Okay. So also I'm looking at, so I have a source from the Biden administration talking about how this is, well, I should say the whitehouse.gov, how it's the National Environmental Policy Act, NEPA, which requires this review, and it can take, the average is about 4.5 years for some of these reviews to take place. They're trying to get it down to 2 years, but these reviews are pretty extensive. They have a lot of things to factor in. And this is like a Biden White House. They were clarifying like the rules of NEPA. And obviously it's part of their goal to reduce carbon emissions and be net zero by 2050. So it is part of federal law, and it does take quite a bit of time. It doesn't take like 30 days or anything like that. It can take, like, as I mentioned, like 4.5 years.
Well, I mentioned the same thing earlier. The one that I quoted is 4 to 8. And the reason why is because organizations, there's a lot of due diligence that are required by them, and then it's submitted to the government, and then the government spends 4 years. So
yeah, exactly. I don't think that less restriction is I don't think a less restriction is the answer to this, because we do have to factor in the climate impact. Like, drilling oil is great, but we also have to be concerned about, well, how is this actually impacting the climate? And we do have a goal of net zero by 2050, and I think we should follow through with that goal. That makes sense. So I think that's pretty important, no?
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you on that. Where I do disagree is I'm not talking about completely removing law or removing safeguards. I'm talking about specifically the laws or regulations that bottleneck. That's the biggest problem.
But like, what
bottleneck.
regulations are you referencing?
Again, I don't have.
So it's kind of like impossible to address what regulations you're talking about that bottleneck this process if you don't have them. And I'm not saying that you have to be an expert in these regulations, but it's hard to like have that conversation if you don't know. That's all.
I mean, I can Google it, but I'm gonna be teacupping, and then your views are gonna go down. So
if you want to go Google it, it's fine. We can move on to something else if you don't want to go do that. It's up to you.
Like what do you want to go to then?
Well, what else do you support of Donald Trump?
I appreciate what he wants to do with taxes. I mean, I think that's great.
Let's talk about, I mean, like, this is all very like meh because, Donald Trump is not running for president to reduce taxes. How do you feel about him trying to overturn the 2020 election?
By answering that would assume that I think he did.
Do you think he did try to overturn the election in 2020?
I don't have enough information to tell you whether he did or didn't. And
so let me inform you. So he's been indicted for this, by the way.
I've heard the rumors.
It's not rumors, it's fact. So he's been indicted for this, by the way. He set up a false elector scheme in collaboration with the RNC and people that worked in his White House, where essentially they gathered a bunch of false electors in states that Biden won and had them sign certificates saying that they are the legitimate electors so that they could be submitted as Trump votes and take votes away from Joe Biden. Donald Trump himself also called up state legislators around the country and asking them to either convene special sessions to decertify elections or to find votes, as he did in Georgia. And this worked its way all the way up to January 6th, where there was an insurrection, and he was very much in favor of that insurrection taking place. He watched it for over 180 minutes in the White House. And the first tweet that he put out after learning of violence was attacking his vice president, of which the crowd was chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." So that's a very, very, very short synopsis of what Donald Trump did. But those are the facts, and those are included in a federal indictment against Donald Trump for trying to overturn the election for a number of crimes, including an attempt to defraud the American people. So how do you feel about that?
I had no feelings on it.
No feelings. So Trump tries to overturn an election. Don't care, right?
I understand that you're saying that, and I understand that you say that there's evidence there. But unlike most, I don't condemn someone unless they're convicted of something without a shadow of a doubt.
So, I mean, just to be clear, Donald Trump is on audio talking to the Georgia Secretary of State, telling him to find 11,000 votes. But sure, I mean, if you're just like, yeah, we have to convict him beyond a shadow of a doubt, then how do you feel about Donald Trump being convicted of 34 felonies?
What were the felonies for?
Falsifying business records in the first degree.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Are you saying that himself did falsified knowingly, that he falsified it, or did his representatives falsify those documents?
So Donald Trump was part of the process, and the law in New York states that if you either did or caused the documents to be falsified, meaning that you were directly involved in some way, then you are guilty of the crime. So he was found guilty of 34 felonies, falsifying business records in the first degree. He was paying off an adult actress who he had an affair with while his wife was at home taking care of his newborn child. And he paid it through his lawyer, Michael Cohen. And then Michael Cohen sent the money to Stormy Daniels. And Donald Trump misrepresented what those payments were for so that the American people in 2016 wouldn't find out that he had an affair because he thought he was going to hurt his election chances. So it's election interference in that sense because he was trying to keep this private illegally. So how do you feel about that? How do you feel about him interfering in the 2016 election and being found guilty of falsifying business records?
It sounds like to me that if it wasn't Donald Trump, then it would be misdemeanors.
No, it would not be misdemeanors. This has been charged thousands of times from the New York District Attorney's Office. It's often elevated to felonies. People falsify business records to cover up crimes all the time.
And you don't think it's at all of a stretch that it was election interference by trying to keep it on a down low?
Wait, what are you asking me? Do I think it was Can you rephrase the question, please, by any chance?
Yeah, by discreetly having Stormy Daniels paid, and not publicizing that, you think that was election interference?
Yeah, he was illegally covering up something so that his election prospects would not be interfered with. That is quite literally election interference. Yeah,
that's pretty funny. Yeah,
why is that funny? Just to be clear here, like some of his senior advisors, like Hope Hicks, testified under oath at the trial that was the purpose, so that the story would not come out for that reason.
So your buddy, your best friend that says some derogatory terms, like it starts with an N.
What are you talking about? What the fuck is wrong with you? Can you engage with what I'm saying right now? I just made a point to you. Can you respond?
I am. So it starts with the N-word.
So I just said that Hope Hicks testified under oath against Donald Trump. Could you address what I just said about Hope Hicks?
Yeah, I'm almost done. So just
to be clear here, you're just stay on topic. Yeah? Just focus up. So Hope Hicks testified under oath that was the reason. She was a senior advisor for Donald Trump, along with other people testified to this. So go ahead, respond to that, please.
Yeah, so just like that person, your best friend, that says the N-word, right, really discreetly, do you think that he would pay to, keep that like text deleted or not publicize that?
So this is like a really unintelligent response, and I think it shows like a lack of knowledge on the law, because it's not illegal to pay for something to be covered up. Like you could enter into an NDA with Stormy Daniels to not have her reveal that information. That's perfectly legal. You can do that. But if you're paying her through somebody and you misrepresent what the payments were for, and then you're doing that to preserve your election chances, that's illegal. That's a felony. So what you just tried to compare was not analogous whatsoever and quite unintelligent.
Because he's not running for office, right?
Yeah, even if you're running for office, or even if you're not running for office, if you falsify business records and do it to conceal another crime, that's still illegal. Whether you're a business person, running for office.
So is it? Hold on.
Because there's no special protection for somebody that's running for office. By the way,
do you think?
Don't know if you know that.
Do you think? Let's go back to Donald Trump, because I'm done picking on your buddy Dean.
I mean, you're not really picking on anybody. You're just like making a fool of yourself. Like what you tried to do was.
Hold on. I'll tell you.
No, I'm not done yet. What you tried to do is pick on somebody to make a point, but it just like complete backfire. Like I feel like that was a waste of your time. No,
not really. You're not embarrassed. Well,
you miscited the law. You don't know what the law says.
Are you embarrassed about that text or no?
I'm embarrassed that somebody like you comes up on a live and so confidently is wrong. That's what I'm embarrassed by.
So you're embarrassed by that, but not saying the N-word.
No, I'm embarrassed that people like you come up in lives and you are so confidently wrong. Like you miscite the law and you try to pull a gotcha moment and it just goes really badly. Like you don't actually know what the New York law says. You don't know what falsifying business records in the first degree says. You don't know anybody that testified in the case against Donald Trump. You don't even know who Hope Hicks is. I mean, you don't even know the charges against Donald Trump. It's like,
so I'm just curious. It's like I'm misrepresenting New York law than your best friend saying the N-word. That's pretty interesting.
I'm confused as to what the analogy is here. Like, so please prove to me how it's analogous whatsoever. What's the correlation here? Or are you incapable of staying on point?
Okay, we'll go back to your point. Here's the thing. Did it go through his attorney or did it not?
He was not his attorney.
Okay. Did any of it go through his attorney?
It did not go through a attorney. No.
Okay. It probably should.
Do you not know the facts of the case?
It probably should have. Obviously, I don't. I wouldn't be.
So do you know? Yeah. So do you know anything about the case against Donald Trump or no? Just kind of like
that. No,
you don't. No. So he assaults women. You don't care about that. He commits a bunch of business fraud. You don't care about that. Steals classified documents. You don't care about that. Tries to overturn an election. You don't care about that. You say it's rumors. You say that regulation, that Donald Trump wants to get rid of regulation. You don't know what the regulation is. You don't know how much time it takes to do an environmental review for certain projects.
Wait,
So what do you
hold on.
know?
I did quote that correctly because
No, you
that's
did
the
not.
field-
You
Yeah,
did
I
not.
did. I said,
So just like what? So what do you actually know? Like what do you know in connection to politics? And like what do you know about Donald Trump?
well, hold on. Well, don't misrepresent me because I did say
I'm not misrepresenting you. This
48
is
years when
accurate.
it comes to the permitting process.
I
did
mean,
say that, which
you
was
said that
very
after I brought
accurate.
up. You said that after I brought that up. So, but regardless,
No,
like what do
that's
you
not
actually
true.
know regarding Donald Trump? Like, do you know any of his? Like, can you name me policies that he got passed through Congress when he was president?
You were a decent debater, right? Until you.
Hey,
like,
excuse me,
you're
I'm asking you a
misspeaking.
question. Can you tell me policies that Donald Trump got passed through Congress? Like, what do you actually know about him? I'm trying to have you redeem yourself here a little bit, so you can maybe show to the people that
Well,
you're
hold
not
on.
what
Just
we
because
perceive
I
you to
don't
be.
know the ins and outs of what he was convicted for and things like that. Hold on, all the details of the case, because I do have a full-time job as an executive, and I do have a second job of investing in properties. But you, my friend,
It's just reading, my man. It doesn't take that long.
You, my
It just
friend,
doesn't take
you
that long.
debate this every single day, right?
Yeah,
so you
you
should
don't-
know it. I would expect you to know it like the
Mhm.
back of your hand.
You don't. It doesn't. You can read, right? You can read. You can read just like anybody else. You're apparently so wrapped up in work, but apparently you have plenty of time to hop on a TikTok live and spew misinformation. So
Like
you could
what?
be using this time to inform yourself, but you deliberately
the
choose not to.
misinformation?
And I find it hard pressed to believe that every second
What
of every
was the
day for you
what was the
is full of your
misinformation
demanding job.
specifically?
How about you just crack
Harry.
open an article sometime and actually inform yourself, as opposed
Harry,
to
tell me
like genuinely
what
coming up in a very
specifically-
public way and
Come
not
on,
knowing
Harry.
what you're talking about. That's all. It's
What-
I'm not asking you to do rocket science. I'm not asking you to learn quantum physics
I'm
or Albert
asking
Einstein's
you.
equations or anything like that.
Come on, Harry. I know you can do it. Tell me what I spoke that was misinformation.
You made a false analogy between Trump and Dean, which was crazy. Like that was a crazy analogy. That you were comparing two things that were not analogous whatsoever. And you also miscited facts of the case, like, oh, did it go through his lawyer and things like that? Of course, it didn't go through the lawyer.
I didn't miss. That's not miscite. I was simply asking a question. And when it comes
Well,
to
you
your
were
friend
making an
Dean, I was
implication there.
comparing
You're making an implication there.
Dean saying that, like, because I asked you, what's more egregious, what I said or what Dean said? And you said what I said. That
you wait.
Yeah,
What
no,
are you
hold on,
talking
hold
about?
on. I said, what's more egregious, me not knowing New York law, or your friend, your best buddy?
No, I'm
saying
talking. We're in the
anything?
context of the debate. And first of all, in the context of the debate, I don't. In the context of the debate, you didn't
my
know what you were
friend,
talking about, and
live in
that's egregious.
2024.
That's pretty bad.
I would say
and the fact that you're
it's
trying to
more
pivot it to somebody
egregious.
else and something else that's going on, it's like it's a clear lack of knowledge, because if you can't, excuse me, if you can't win on the information, if you can't win on the facts, then you do what Trump does, right? Trump can't win on the facts. Trump can't win on the policy, so he pivots to something else, attacking somebody else, attacking something else. And it's pretty much just what you're doing right now. And I think that's just I just think that's embarrassing. I don't know. So do you have any, it's like, can you name me some policy? Excuse me, I'm not,
Are you doubling
excuse me,
down
I'm
on
asking
that?
you a question. Excuse me, I'm asking you a question. Can you name me policies that Donald Trump got passed through Congress when he was president the first time that you like?
The Jobs and Tax Act.
Okay, what was good about it?
Well, I think that it helped.
By the way, it's the
lower
Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, but anyway. Super basic stuff though. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm sure it is if you debate it every day.
It's just the name of a policy, man. If you're going to say it, you should get it right.
Well,
continue. Please. What did it do?
I don't
Why did you like it?
disagree, but what'd you say?
What did it do? Why do you like it?
Well, what did I like about it? Well, it doubled the tax incentives for children, right?
Are you you're done?
No, I'm going step by step. Do you agree with that?
Just list it all out. Go ahead.
No, I'm not listening them all out. I don't do what you do. You spit a bunch of
Just tell me
word
what you like
salad.
about the law. Is that all you like about it?
Hold on. I'm not like you, Harry. Sitting there, spend a bunch of word salad, and then you have to go back to every
debunk me
single
then.
line item.
Just debunk me then.
So
if
one
it's
at a
just a bunch of
time.
word salad, debunk me. So can you continue? So or do you want to go literally one by one?
Literally, Harry. Literally
one by one. Okay. So why do you need to give billionaires a big tax cut to like reform taxes when it comes to
Harry,
children.
hold on. Don't pivot, Harry. Let's
This
just.
is, I'm asking you about the policy that this is the policy you're citing. This is
Harry.
a policy that, can you stop talking?
Where did I
This is a
leave
policy
off,
that gave
Harry?
a huge tax
Stay
cut to
focused,
wealthy people.
Harry. You can
83%
do
of the
it.
benefits went to the top. I promise you that nobody needs to hear you speak right now. It's okay. So 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%, the wealthiest Americans, wealthiest corporations. So why
Stay
did we need to
focused,
pass?
Harry.
Why couldn't we
I've got
pass
faith in you.
reform? Okay. So why did we need to pass reforms for children in that policy as opposed to just doing it by itself?
So let's stick it with one at a time. Was it not doubled?
What was doubled?
The tax credit for children.
The tax credit?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was doubled. Actually, I don't know if that's the case.
How the fuck do you not know that, Harry? This is what you do.
Do you have a source on that then?
This is what you do.
Yeah. Do you have a source on that?
How the fuck do you not know?
Do you have a
this?
source on that? I don't think you're right.
Look it up. You just pulled up your
do you have a
cell
source
phone.
on that? Do you have a source on that?
Yes, the act itself.
Okay,
Look
so
it
can you
up.
pull that up for us, please?
Pull that up for us, Harry.
Yeah.
I don't have as many followers as you owe me.
What are you talking about? This has nothing to do with followers. This is just pulling up a source. Can you prove your claim or
Common
not?
knowledge. Harry, how the fuck?
So are
do
you
you
so
not
okay?
know
If you're not going to cite a source, then like, what's the point of having a conversation? If I ask you like, can you prove the claim that you're making? You can't.
Hang
you just
on,
like,
Harry. Let me
keep
go get
whispering.
this for you.
Yeah, go
This
for
is
it. Go
hilarious.
for it.
No wonder why you wanted to skip it so bad. Because you.
No,
didn't
I want you. I want you to
know.
tell me more. I want you to tell me more about this law that you
Hang
like
on,
so
Harry.
much because we
Let
haven't
me
even
get it
gotten
for
into
you.
the meat of it. But please go find the source.
Harry,
Go
hold
ahead.
on.
Swipe up out of TikTok and go find it.
All right, hang on, Harry.
Yeah, you got it. There he goes. God, this guy's a really weird whisperer. I don't know why he's whispering. It's kind of strange. Yeah, why is he whispering so much? Go ahead.
Hang on, Harry. Give me 1 second.
Was it? Wait. Come back here for a second. Actually, go ahead. It's fine. Whatever. Keep going. I still want to hear more about why he likes this law. I mean, it's taking a long time.
Hey, is Wikipedia good enough source for you?
Sure, you can cite Wikipedia.
All right, so look, it was doubled from 1,000 to 2,000.
And was it temporary or permanent?
Does it matter? Dude, nothing's permanent, bro.
Does it matter?
Hold on. Nothing's permanent. Nothing's permanent, dude. If
what are
you're
you
the
talking
president-
about? That's a really dumb thing to say. That nothing's permanent in government. We have things that are permanent in government. Was it temporary or permanent?
Well, that is a true statement. But hold on, give me 1 second.
So I can answer the question for you. Yeah, I really. We don't have to do this all again.
So how the fuck did you not know?
Well, the point I was making is that it's temporary.
Permanent or not?
The point is that it's temporary, right? So this tax law, there are things that we could have made permanent that Donald Trump deliberately didn't. So a lot of there are some tax cuts for the wealthy that were made permanent, and a lot of these like tax benefits for the middle class were not made permanent. And overall, in terms of like a 10-year, why did he leave? Well, fuck! I was just getting into this dumb law. Oh, whatever. He just. Oh my god, dude. Why did he leave? We didn't even get. Oh, whatever, bro. We didn't even get into the meat of it, man. It's fine. I'll live. Why the fuck did he leave? Oh my god. Well, that's sad. I would. Oh man, we weren't even like we didn't even get into the thick of it. I had a point to make. I had a bunch of studies to cite. God, man, yo, Amy, thank you. Amy, thank you for the $50 as a mod for a day trading Discord. That's 99% Gene Z, fellas. Thanks for the education to fight back on their comments. Yo, Amy, thank you so much for the $50. That's incredibly kind. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Show some love for Amy in the chat. $50 is incredibly generous. Shout out, Amy. I appreciate you. Fill the chat with some W's, please. Jake, thank you for the $25 as well, saying you deserve it. Vote blue. Jake, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate the support. That's incredibly kind. $25 is lovely. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Show some love for everybody in the chat. Megan, thank you for the $5. The face of dealing with stupidity is amazing. You know, I've gotten messages before of like people like, I love your facial expressions on live. And sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing it. Like when someone says like, that guy, for example, yeah, I've heard the rumors of Donald Trump trying to overturn an election. I'm just like I just like this face just comes out because I'm like, what is this guy talking about? Justin, thank you for the $5. 45-year-old truck driver, Gen X for Kamala. Justin, that's my man. Hell yeah, Justin. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for being here. And Kyle, thank you for the $5. Always great watching you destroy Trumpers. Hey, man, we try. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. It's very kind. Yeah, we try. We try. These people are crazy. I mean, seriously, very misinformed. I mean, I would, you know, it's very sad, to be honest. I mean, it's very sad. Yeah, man. Could I have your hoodie? I don't know. I actually like this hoodie a lot. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Listen, everybody, I think I'm going to wrap up the live there. I'm going to go, you know, like listen to some music, maybe drive around for a second here, and take it easy for the rest of the night. You know, we did like 5-hour lives last night, like a 3-hour live tonight, you know, solid time. So listen, everybody, hey, thank you guys for joining me in these lives again. I appreciate you being here. Let me ask you a question. So before I head out, we're going to raid somebody. I have a bunch of stuff I want to mention to you guys. But let me ask you this. Somebody sent something on Venmo and Cash App tonight and said that the live was not recommended to them. Was that the case for anybody else? Was it like, he said that it didn't show me as live. Is that the case for you guys, or anybody have any comments on that or no? Saying like, was it, yes, it was recommended, or no, it wasn't? Yes, it was. So if you say yes, yeah, I didn't see it either. Huh, interesting. It's kind of like a mixed bag. There's like people saying yes, it was recommended. No, it's not. Anyway, okay, good to know. Because somebody said that, I was just, you know, clarifying. So again, shout out to everybody that supported on Venmo and Cash App. You guys are fantastic. It always goes incredibly long way. I appreciate that a lot from the bottom of my heart. But hey, I post on every single social media platform. I post on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat. All of those links are in my bio. TikTok, of course, I post every single day. Drop a follow here. We do these lives as well every night. And I post on Twitter every day, Instagram every day, YouTube every day, and of course, Snapchat every day. So definitely check that out. All those links are in my bio. It would mean a lot if you can go add and follow and subscribe on all of those platforms. Really helps, goes a long way. Also have a great Saturday tomorrow, ladies and gents. Go watch some college football. Go watch the college football and enjoy your day tomorrow. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow night if everything goes well. And the last thing I'll say is we have some people to raid. So we have 3 people I want you to raid for me. 3 people that are live right now that I'd highly recommend to you. We have Isaiah R. Martin, who's live. He's doing a live right now doing TikTok debates. We have Parker Get a Job. Parker's live right now as well. But also Carbon Says. Carbon is also another debater on TikTok live. So go show all of these people some love. Carbon currently has the lowest viewers of all of them. So maybe go to Carbon first and show him some love. Carbon Says on TikTok, or Parker Get a Job, or Isaiah R. Martin. All of these people are on TikTok live. Here you go. Here you go. There's some of the usernames. We have Parker Get a Job, Isaiah R. Martin, Manda Rose is also great if you want to go over there. Just go to any of these people, say Harry Raid, Harry Raid, Harry Raid. Let them know that we sent you. Let them know that we care about them and that they're doing good work and that we appreciate everything they're doing. Parker Get a Job. Here we go. Parker Get a Job, Carbon Says, Isaiah R. Martin. All these people are live on TikTok right now doing TikTok debates. So if you want more, go hang out with them and say hi for me. Let them know that we appreciate them, all right? All right, everybody. Hey, hope you had a good one today, and we will talk soon, okay? I appreciate everybody. Be well, and I'll see you around.